All right, we are live. Good evening, everyone, and we are live from Urbana, Ohio tonight. We've got West Virginia Wesleyan, and they are going to be hosted by the Blue Knights. You're listening to CampusNation.com, the sports animal, your home for high school, college, and professional sports. We have Chuck Hale and Bill Raybeck here tonight, the Hammer and the Razor, doing tonight's broadcast here on the Campus Nation Network. Dean Thompson on camera number 2. Camera number 1 is stationary tonight, and of course we've got an intern here from Urbana doing the camera from above. So we hope you'll enjoy the broadcast on Campus Nation. I'll turn it over to our broadcast crew. Guys, go ahead and take it away.
Thanks, Rick. And Chuck, thanks for coming back. I know it's tough to work with me, but we're back again.
That's right, back in the saddle.
We're here at UU Stadium, and of course we have been treated to 2 good games, Chuck, in the first 2 times we've been here.
Well, we sure have.
And, 21-19, Urbana pulls out a victory against West Liberty. And then last week we saw them beat Lake Erie College 27-19, which became a close game after they jumped out to a big lead.
Yeah, that's right. They were up, I think, 21-0 at one point. And, give the opposing team a lot of credit last week. They really stormed back, and Lake Erie really made it a ball game there at the end.
I'm curious to see how Lake Erie does this week because based on what we saw, it seemed like in the second half they were able to pick up some momentum, and if they can carry that on, they could be a force over in the GMAC.
Yeah, that's right. They're visiting Hillsdale this week, and we'll have to keep an eye out for that score and see how they fare.
Yeah. Of course, the Mountain East Conference, which Urbana is part of and West Virginia Wesleyan is part of, Chuck, they have been doing Thursday night games here for the better part of September. And also going on tonight, Charleston will be at Fairmont State at 7 o'clock. Of course, Fairmont State is right now 2-0 in the MEAC, and they are also 3-0 in the overall. And then you've got Charleston's 3-0 overall. And then you have Notre Dame College out of Euclid, Ohio. They are 3-0. Urbana sits at 2-1, 1-1 in the MEC, and then of course West Virginia Wesleyan is 0-3 in the league and 0-3 overall. But that's misleading, Chuck.
Yeah, it really is. They've been in some really tight ball games this year. In fact, their last 2 losses both came on the hands of a last-second field goal. So they've been in every game they've played. They just come in on the wrong end of all 3 of them so far this season.
Yeah, they opened with Concord and dropped a game 34-31. And if you know anything about Concord has been a force in the MEC here for several years, although they're not quite as good as they have been. Starting out this season at 1-2 in the league and 1-2 overall. And then they traveled to West Liberty, played them the week after Urbana had beat them, and they lost a close game there. This time was 37-34. And then just last week, they lost to Fairmont, who we had talked about, who's undefeated. They lost 44-41, as you said, on a last-second field goal. So we know Wesleyan can put points on the board.
Yeah, that's right. Again, their offense has really stepped up in all those games this year. And, again, in fact, I believe in both those games they were up, pretty big. 17-0 last week at Fairmont. And in that Concord game, they were up 21-0. So, again, the offense has proven that they can score points. They just need to get their defense to be able to play full quarters. Excuse me there.
That's a mouthful there.
It sure is.
If we look at Wesleyan's offense, they're averaging 35 points a game. They are averaging total offense 422 yards a game, 324 yards passing, and only 98 yards rushing. And then on the defensive side, we can almost flip that completely over, Chuck. They have averaged giving up 38 points a game. They give up 434 yards. They have given up 190 yards in the air, and they've given up 244 a game on the ground. So just as good as they are on offense, they are that porous on defense.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously you can't give up those kind of numbers and expect to come up on top of too many ball games.
And then for the Blue Knights, they're averaging 18 points a game. I know Coach Haynes would like to push that number up a little bit because in college, 18 points is that's tough to win some games they're averaging there. I mean, they've They put 27 on last week, and I'm sure they hope to improve that tonight. They are averaging 382 yards total offense a game. They average 220 yards passing, and then rushing-wise, they average 162. Now, their strong point, Chuck, has been their defense, and we know that they can put pressure on their opponents. And they're led by Michael Tolliver, the defensive end. Michael had 3 tackles last week, and they were all sacks.
Yeah, that's right, and they were all big points in the game. He really showed that he is a player. He's had a great season all 3 times that we've seen him this year, and I expect that's going to continue.
Yeah, and, so their defense is very formidable. They're opportunistic. They're always looking to force turnovers and turn them into points. And that's going to be a problem for West Virginia Wesleyan if they get careless with the football.
Yeah, that's right. Last year in this matchup, in fact, DeRay Hall recorded 3 sacks in that ball game, and the defense really stepped up big. So I expect we'll see the same thing tonight. But again, this is a potent offense they're facing.
So for Urbana, they won last year traveling to Buchanan, West Virginia. They pulled out a 21-7 victory where they pretty much dominated the Bobcats, 373 yards to 181 yards. West Virginia Wesleyan, however, holds the season series advantage 5 games to 3. Which started back in 2009.
Yeah, that's right. But the Blue Knights have really been on the, let's say, more the winning side of that matchup the past couple games. So we'll see if that continues as well. Just like you said, they may lead the overall series, but the Blue Knights are 2-1 against them here at home. So they're going to look to push that to 3-1 this evening.
So let's, Chuck, before we get into the starting lineups, what do you think some keys are tonight for West Virginia Wesleyan to be able to beat the Blue Knights?
Well, again, West Virginia Wesleyan has to create some turnovers. They can't let Urbana hold on to the ball too long and throw up and down the field because, again, with some of these receivers, including Khalid Muhammad and
Jesse
Bray, again, those are both dangerous receivers, so for sure they have to shut them down offensively. Also, I think they need to, again, continue what they've been doing on offense, play smart, play possession football, keep the football, and but again, really just shut down this Urbana offense and get their defense keyed up.
This is similar to a game we saw last Saturday when we did the Mount St. Joseph Rose-Hulman game, and Rose-Hulman had the same challenge in front of them, is that they needed to get some stops on Mount St. Joseph. And I think that's what Urbana is going to have to do tonight, is they're going to have to get stops on this West Virginia Wesleyan offense. And if they do, the West Virginia Wesleyan defense is going to have to rise up to the occasion because they've been pretty porous at this point.
That's exactly right.
I think what you're going to see out of Urbana is you're going to see them continue to try to improve the run game. Of course, Isaiah Young, and then the young running back that they have, David Hickey, a nice 1-2 punch. And then they bring in the third component of that is Khalil Trotman, who is electric when he runs the football.
Yeah, that's right. Again, he just showed last week how special of a player he is. Lined up at quarterback a few times, lined up in the backfield, and made big plays from both positions. So I think they're in a position now where they just want to find any way they can to get the ball in his hands because, like you said, he's lightning in a bottle.
Right. Quarterback Eddie Stockett, Chuck, he improved tremendously from week 1 when we saw him to week 3, or I should say week 2 for them. He just looked like a different quarterback as far as composure. He ran the ball a little bit. He seemed like a field general when we saw him the second time around.
Yeah, that's right. You can tell that he's really progressed as the season's gone on. And just like you said, looked a lot more comfortable in the pocket. Is willing to throw, but also, makes his reads and makes a lot of good throws. And like we talked about, this receiving core is just dangerous for Urbana. They've got 3 really top-tier receivers with, Shamar Hooks, again, leading the team with 12 receptions. Khalid Muhammad with 11 and 331 yards for a 110-yard average. And again, he's ranked in the top 10 in the nation right now with 30-plus yards per catch.
Yep.
And then again, of course, you can't forget Jesse Bray. Jesse only has 5 receptions, but 110 yards on those 5 receptions, and 3 of them for touchdowns. So,
Yeah.
Again, this offense is very potent right now, and again, the passing game really firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, and not to leave out a couple other receivers who don't get as much publicity, J.T. Dozier and Philip Dozier. They're out there, and they kind of go unnoticed through the whole process because of the big numbers that Hooks and Mohammed and Bray have been able to put up.
Yeah, that's right. With those eye-gouging numbers, it's hard to see anybody else. But,
Right.
But you're right.
So, looking at the starting lineups, Chuck, I'll let you start it out here. Why don't you take West Virginia Wesleyan's offense and let us know who we'll see there for the Bobcats tonight.
Sure. So starting for the Bobcats, led by third-year head coach Del Smith, will be number 3, the quarterback Luke Casey. He's passed already for 974 yards on the season and 7 touchdowns. He does have 4 interceptions to go along with that. Okay. Lining up next to him in the backfield is Devin Montgomery. He's a junior, and he's got 14 carries on the season, still under 100 yards. You know what? In backups.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So
yeah, I was going to say when we were looking at the stats, we saw that Dante Starcher.
yeah, Starcher has really been the workhorse. He's got 34 carries, 145 yards and 2 touchdowns. But again, we're not sure which one of those will start.
Now, interesting side note about Montgomery is he was
preferred walk-on in West Virginia, and in fact, according to some information we have, actually scored a touchdown for West Virginia against Kansas. So,
right.
Got some Big 12 experience, I guess, there. So, that young man should be pretty electrifying. As far as receivers, number 19, Sterling Dudney, has 7 receptions, 188 yards on the season. Number 2, Kenny Lewis, 6 receptions, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. But the real workhorse has been Juwan Lindsay with 15 receptions. He's got 202 yards and 2 touchdowns. The tight end is number 43, Jonah Wellman. Then the line, number 63, Taryn Carter. At left tackle, the left guard is 72, Tyler Thomas. The anchor in the middle is number 71, Ryan Jackson. And on the right guard is 74, Luke French. And the right tackle is big 77, Jaron Carter. He's a 6'3", 275-pound sophomore.
Okay,
so that's the lineups for the Bobcats.
So looking at the Urbana Blue Knight defense that'll be facing that offense, they're led by defensive coordinator Joe Nemeth. The defensive ends tonight will be number 27, Michael Tolliver, who we've talked about already. Yeah. Tolliver has 4 sacks, 6 TFLs on the season.
Exciting football player, Bill.
He's explosive. He's always around the football, and good things happen for the Blue Knights when he gets to the quarterback.
That's right.
On the other side, not to be forgotten, and had a great game last week, was number 26, Najee Davenport. Davenport has 2.5 TFLs and 1.5 sacks. The interior is manned by number 48, Jamari Collins, and nose guard number 93, Seth Douglas, a redshirt freshman. The Mike linebacker in the middle is number 46, L.A. Kelly. Kelly has 22 tackles, 2.5 TFLs, and 1 sack on the season. He's backed up by number 44, Boston Sanders, and we always see a lot of Sanders in the games that we come to. And the outside positions at the Sam linebacker, we've got Calvin Bransford. And then at the Will linebacker, we have who else but number 1, DeRay Hall. Hall is a junior. He has 22 tackles and 1.5 TFLs. At free safety, we have number 11, Tobias Haley, redshirt freshman. And you always know where Tobias Haley is, Chuck.
Yeah, you better. You better know where he is.
Because he brings hammers and nails when he hits people.
That's right.
22 tackles, 2 TFLs. At strong safety, number 18, Chris Richardson, Jr., and number 23, Sherman Watson at one of the corners. On the other side, it's number 3, Devontae McKee, the freshman. And for the West Virginia Wesleyan defense, Chuck, what do you got there?
Well, the defensive ends are number 91, Derek King, and then lined up the opposite side from him is number 45, Julius Brown, who's only a sophomore but already has 8 tackles on the season. Inside the D-line is number 90, Will Berry. He's got 8 tackles and 1 sack, 1 TFL on the season. Then number 98, Shondell Parks, a redshirt senior, so a lot of experience there on the D-line for the Bobcats. Linebacker positions will be number 4, Anthony Hill. He's also a redshirt senior. He's got 19 tackles on the season and 1 pick. Next to him is number 52, Robbie Huddleston. He's a junior, and he's got 20 tackles on the season, 2 TFLs and 1 sack. They play a 4-2 5 defense, and their rover, their cat backer is number 26, Kobe Vinegar. He's got 10 tackles on the season. Then the free safety is 13, Derek Butler. Strong safety is number 5, Trey Lee. He's got 21 tackles. Then the cornerbacks, number 23, Zach Johnson. He's got 5 tackles and 1 fumble recovery return for 48 yards, as well as number 33, Mike Sawyer at the other corner. So those are the defensive starters tonight for the Bobcats.
Okay, and for the Blue Knight offense, it all starts out with number 5, quarterback Eddie Stockett, the junior. He has completed 43 out of 76 passes for 661 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. In the backfield, we've talked a little bit about these guys. Number 28, Isaiah Young, has 55 carries for 228 yards, 2 receptions for 12 yards, and he's backed up by a very able young man in David Hickey, number 21. Hickey has 29 carries for 126 yards. We had talked about Khalil Trotman. Khalil has 4 carries for 58 yards.
Is a junior majoring in English. She is actively
and we'll take a break here, and we'll get back to this in a second as we are going to hear the national anthem, Chuck.
Brittany graduated from Miami East High School in Conover, Ohio. At this time, we invite you all to stand if you're able. Yes. Please remove your caps. You're welcome to join in as Brittany Cook sings our national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we rode were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets were crying, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Brittany Cook from Miami East High School, a junior, right here at Urbana University.
So we're back here on Campus Nation with the game of the week, which features the West Virginia Wesleyan Bobcats and the Urbana Blue Knights in a MEC matchup. And let's get back to that lineup for the Urbana offense. At wide receiver, Chuck, you talked about number 12, Shamar Hooks. He's a junior. He's backed up, and this is they really rotate 5 receivers, so it's really kind of unfair to say that one is a starter.
Right.
Because I would say that you see as much of Khalik Mohammed as anybody else out there, but he's listed as a backup, and he is number 9. Chuck had mentioned he has 11 receptions for 331 yards and 3 touchdowns on the season, so he is a threat every time he's out there.
Yeah, he sure is.
Number 14, JT Dozier will also start, and 83, Philip Dozier. JT is a sophomore, Philip is a junior. Number 6, Jesse Bray, who's also listed as a matchup. As a backup. He has 5 receptions for 110 yards and 3 TDs. Dylan Snyder is the tight end, number 81. And on the offensive line, the big boys up front were led by left tackle, number 78, Chris Hawkins, the junior, 6'4", 300 pounds. Left guard, number 74, Russ Podakov, the senior, 6'4", 334 pounds. The center, number 66, Doug Harden, 6'5", 315 pounds. Right guard, number 64, Mike Mulholland, 6'4", 290 pounds. Right tackle, number 62, Dylan Swanson, the sophomore, at 6'5", 310 pounds, rounds out the starting lineup. Kick returners are number 9, Khalik Mohammed, and number 28, Isaiah Young. On punt returns, who else but Khalik Mohammed and number 12, Shamar Hooks. Doing the kicking duties is number 39, Eric Ware, and punting for the Blue Knights, number 17, Brandon Perk, who is averaging nearly 40 yards a kick. And so, Chuck, that pretty much brings us into it. Do we have some college games here? Get a little bit of a roundup here before we kick off as far as action that will be going on not only tonight but this weekend.
Sure, Bill. Let me run down a few. Tonight, as you mentioned, also in the Mountain East Conference, Charleston visits Fairmont. Then Saturday, Shepherd travels to West Virginia State. Notre Dame College travels to Concord. And University of Virginia Wise will be at West Liberty. Then for our fans of the Heartland Conference, Hanover will be at Bluffton. Anderson will travel to Defiance. Mount St. Joe's will go to Richmond to play the Earlham Quakers. Manchester travels to Rose-Hulman. And then in the SIAC, of course, a game of the week, and where we'll be traveling on Saturday. Catch us on Flow Sports as we cover Central State at Kentucky State. Also in the SIAC, Saturday will be Missouri S&T at Tuskegee. Miles travels to Morehouse. Clark goes to Kennesaw, and then Albany travels to Lane. Sunday, Fort Valley State takes on Benedict. And in the GMAC on Saturday, you've got Alderson Broadus going to Glenville State. Tiffin travels to Walsh. Malone at Kentucky Wesleyan. Lake Erie makes the short trip to Hillsdale. Ohio Dominican travels up the road to Findlay. And, of course, to round that out in the OAC, Muskingum and Wilmington. That should be an epic battle, which will be on Campus Nation as well.
Which will be carried by none other than myself, and Matt Baker will be coming out to the
Razor and the Bake Man there.
That's right.
Also, John Carroll will travel to Mount Union.
A little bit of a big matchup there in the OAC.
Yeah, that is. That's probably Mount Union's biggest matchup this year, I would imagine, in the regular season anyway. Ohio Northern travels to Columbus, take on Otterbein. And then Baldwin Wallace will travel to Heidelberg to face the Student Princes.
Yes, indeed.
In the top 25 on Saturday, you've got Florida Atlantic at number 16 Central Florida, number 10 Penn State at Illinois, number 2 Georgia at Missouri, number 8 the Notre Dame Fighting Irish travel to Wake Forest, Nebraska travels to number 19 Michigan, number 23 Boston College goes to Purdue, 22 Texas A&M faces number 1 Alabama in a big SEC matchup there.
One of our few top 25 matchups this week.
That's right. Number 3 Clemson travels to Georgia Tech. Tulane visits Columbus and the Buckeyes. Kansas State travels to number 12 West Virginia. Number 13 Virginia Tech travels to Old Dominion. Florida International University makes a short trip to Miami, number 21 in the nation. Number 17 Texas Christian travels to Texas in a big interstate matchup. Army travels to number 5 Oklahoma. Louisiana Tech travels to LSU, number 6 in the country. Texas Tech travels to number 16 Oklahoma State. Number 24 Michigan State traveling to Indiana University in the Big Ten. Number 7 Stanford at number 20 Oregon in a Pac-10 matchup. Number 18 Wisconsin at Iowa in another Big Ten matchup there. And then rounding out the top 25, Arizona State travels to number 10 Washington.
Yeah, looking at that, Chuck, there's a couple there that I think, I see what you think about this, but I think that Army and Oklahoma game has some interest because the service academies sometimes pose problems for the big boys because of the wishbone attack that they run.
Yeah, that's right. It requires so much discipline to prepare for those teams every week. And, you just don't see it very often, so it doesn't get much work until that week arrives. And, you might overlook them a little bit. And the next thing you know, you're in a tough battle. And, again, Oklahoma, hosting Army, I think, is really to their benefit because if that game were, up at West Point, that might be a trap game.
Right. And then the other one I would say that might be one that they're going to have to look out, or people should look out for, is Arizona State at number 10 Washington. And the Sun Devils upset Michigan State a few weeks ago there. So Sun Devils are playing better. Of course, they're playing under Herm Edwards now.
Good things happening out there in Arizona State, that's for sure.
So I would keep my eyes on Arizona State, and we're getting ready for the kickoff here.
That's right.
So for the Blue Knights, we're going to have number 39. No, we're not. I take that back. Chuck, who do we've got there kicking for? I think
For Wesleyan?
Yeah, I think it's.
Yeah, the kicker for West Virginia Wesleyan. Having a hard time finding it on my sheet here, Bill.
I got it here
The
somewhere.
place kicker is number 59, Tyler Fisher. And let me tell you, I saw him hit a 60-yarder in warm-ups, Bill. So,
And Tyler has a 41-yarder to his credit during the season, so we know that he can get out there. Of course, back deep looks like David Hickey and, of course, Khalik Mohammed for the Blue Knights. And can't win no matter who you kick it to there.
that's right.
Looks like Hickey's going to start out at the 10 with it. Up over to 15 to the 20, cuts back,
Ooh.
and gets whacked down by number 30 of West Virginia Wesleyan.
Yeah, big hit there.
And the Knights will start operations at the 22-yard line.
Number 88,
Beautiful
Todd
night here.
Horsley.
Kind of a late arriving crowd, not quite as big as we've seen the first two Thursdays, but nevertheless, I'd say about three-quarters filled here, and I would suspect within the next 15 minutes it'll be full. So, again, a nice crowd, and a thanks to the Urbana people for coming out and supporting the Blue Knights. Eddie Stockett lines up with Isaiah Young behind him in the pistol. They've got two receivers to the left, tight end and flanker to the right. And it's a play action, and they get it out quick, the Hooks, and Hooks is out to the 30-yard line for about an 8-yard gain.
Making the reception.
Yeah,
Sean
number
Hooks.
31, Ephraim Moore, the quick tackle there. But, again, not before he's able to pick up about 9.
So it's 2nd and 2 for the Blue Knights, and Eddie Stockett has to dry off his hands there. It's a very humid night.
Yeah, it sure is.
Stockett moves Young to his left. He gives it to Young, and Young breaks off a big chunk, and that's going to be a first down as he advances the ball out to the 34-yard line for the Blue Knights. And, as I say, initial first down.
Yeah, I'll tell you, nice play there by number 45, Julius Brown, chasing it from his defensive end spot. He was able to drag him down after a short game, but again, like you said, good enough for a first down.
And we saw last week that the Blue Knights chose to mix it up, and why not? If they can do that tonight, I think you'll see a balanced attack by the Blue Knights.
Yeah, that's right. I think they, like you mentioned, they really want to establish that running game and try to get it going, and this might be a good opportunity against a weaker defense tonight.
Young lines up behind the power back. He breaks back to his right and powers his way, keeps on driving for a 9-yard gain, Chuck, out to the 48-yard line.
I'll tell you, he really made some nice cuts there, Bill, right at the point of attack.
He read his block of his fullback really nicely. As the fullback kicked out, he took a little jump step back to his right and found some daylight.
Yeah, cut right back inside of that block. Nice read.
Okay, so Stockett now has Hickey in there to give Young a little bit of a break. Two receivers to the left, two to the right. Stockett looks it over, moves Hickey over to his left, and play action, and it's a quick slant again to Jesse Bray. Bray's at the 30 and stumbles at about the 27, diving down to they're going to mark it at the 25.
I'll tell you, Ephraim Moore with a shoestring tackle that saved a touchdown right there.
Yeah, if not for that was a touchdown because Bray was gone.
For sure.
But it's 1st and 10 nonetheless at the 25-yard line of West Virginia Wesleyan. And Hickey remains in as the tailback with two receivers to the left, two to the right. Stockett gets ready. Moves Hickey to his left. Play action to Hickey again, and he gets it out quickly. And that's the number 6, Jesse Bray again.
Jesse Bray on the near sideline.
And Bray picks up a quick 7. And I like the tempo here, Chuck. It's not really fast break, but they're getting the plays in, they're looking crisp, and they're getting the ball out pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's right. They certainly got this Bobcat defense on its heels right now. No chance to huddle, no chance to substitute.
Okay, so Stockett with two receivers, his right, Bray to the left. He's got the power back in. That is Dylan Snyder, and they give it to Young, and he's right behind Snyder. He bounces to his right, but nothing doing that time as the Bobcats drop him for a couple-yard loss.
Yeah, really blown up there by the safety Trey Lee, playing up near the line of scrimmage. did a nice job taking on the block and fighting through it and getting to the running back before he could really make a play.
He started to follow Snyder, and last time we saw that, he did a little jump cut back to the left. Well, this time, the Bobcats were waiting for that, and there was nothing there for him.
Yeah, that's right. They really shut down the lanes right there.
Okay, so Stockett moves Young to his right. Two receivers split to the right, one to the left. Oh, and that's going to be offsides, I believe. And that's
yeah, Bobcats showing blitz there and a little too aggressive there. Number 52 looked like he came across the line.
So that's going to be 5 yards, I believe, unless they were induced. Which I never could quite figure that one out, Chuck. But
yeah, there were a lot of guys moving, that's for sure.
Offsides. Defense, number 98.
Okay, so
it's going to be a first down.
Yeah, it will. Actually, number 98, the nose tackle, Shondell Parks, gets the call. But he wasn't the only one.
Yeah, moves the ball down to the 14-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Blue Knights.
14-yard line, it'll be 1st and 10 for the Knights.
Nice drive going here. We're going to have Snyder's going to line up as the power back behind the left tackle and left guard. Young moves right behind him. And a play action to Young, and they get the ball out quickly to Bray, and Bray's down to the 3. Couldn't quite stretch it, Chuck, to the end zone, but this drive has been impressive.
No, and I'll tell you, Urbana's run that two-man combination a couple times already, and don't be surprised when they hit the deep man off of that.
Yeah, but a lot of good patience here, a good mix of run and pass. Stockett has got them down with a first down. Looks like about the 3-yard line. So it's going to be 1st and goal from the 3. Isaiah Young is in the pistol. Moves off to the right. And there's the give to Young. Young slants off to his left, and he's almost in.
It's going to be a little short, Bill.
Yeah, I believe he got down to about the half-foot line, and that's where they're going to mark it. Of course, we don't know if Rick has the micrometer today, so we won't.
I think Rick always has his micrometer.
He probably does. Okay, they go quick. They give it to Young again, and Young's in the end zone, I believe.
Ball's out.
And
I thought he crossed the goal line, but apparently not. No indication yet.
Yeah,
now they're signaling 3rd down.
You know, the way that looked, Chuck, is looked like he got hit in the end zone, got bounced back. That's when he lost the football.
Yeah, but from this angle, I would have thought he already broke the plane.
That's what I thought, too. I thought that was a touchdown. But again, they bring in David Hickey, number 21, to give Young a little bit of a break.
And Hickey's shown he can be a real powerful back there, too.
Yeah, he can. And there's the give to Hickey.
No doubt about this one.
And really what you like to see with that is Hickey went low. He went below belt level, Chuck, and he dove across the goal line and got in. And a lot of times players aren't looking down there because they're too busy trying to find the ball.
Yeah, that's right. Again, that's where you want to be, though, if you want the leverage. Get good and low, and he sure did. Just barreled through.
So Eric Ware comes out for the extra point at 9:37 to go in the first period, a 5-minute and 23-second drive, which is capped by Ware's extra point, 7-0. Chuck, you couldn't script that one any better.
No, you sure couldn't. The Blue Knights got off to a fast start and just kept the foot on the gas, never let up, and just like that, it's 7-0.
And the one thing we do know is that West Virginia Wesleyan can score. So, Chuck, get ready for some fast break offense here.
Yeah, that's right. We expect that this offense will come out ready and ready to go.
University is proud to partner with Mercy Health Orthopedics and sports medicine for all of our sports medicine and orthopedics.
And really, when you look at West Virginia's offense, Casey has 974 yards, 7 TDs, and 4 interceptions, and he's put it up 106 times already. So,
yeah, that's right. But they've got to limit those turnovers tonight if they want to be in this ball game.
Yeah, and they're going to have to protect him. I don't know the stats on how many times he's been sacked this year, but with this defensive front, you've got to be worried about that with Davenport and Tolliver up there.
Yeah, that's right. We've talked about Michael Tolliver a lot in the pregame, and he is an exciting football player to watch. He's going to be all over Luke Casey tonight.
And, of course, they have an active secondary led by Tobias Haley, the redshirt freshman. And, we've seen Tobias here for a couple times, and he's just a devastating hitter. I mean, on borders lines, with the new rule, he's just really got to be careful that he
that's right.
doesn't get tossed out.
He's dangerous with these new rules. You're right.
Yeah, he is. So they get ready to kick the ball away here. And that will be Eric Ware, number 39 for the Blue Knights. And they've got number, as it looks like, number 2 going back deep. And is that...
Yeah, the returners are, let's see, number 2.
And number 82.
2 is Kenny Lewis, a 6'4" wide receiver out of Baltimore, Maryland. And what was the other number, Bill?
82.
Yeah, that's Jawan Lindsay, another receiver, 5'10", 184 sophomore. So, again, 2 receivers back there looking to really push it here.
Lindsay's an exciting player, too.
Yeah, he sure is. He's got over 200 yards on the season, already has 2 touchdowns.
Ware will tow the pigskin for the Knights. 2 deep for West Virginia Wesleyan.
And the ball's driven deep into the end zone.
All right, going to be fielded in the end zone by Lewis, and Lewis won't bring it out, so they'll bring it out to the 25, and that's where the Bobcats will start, 1st and 10 from the Urbana 25-yard line.
Yeah, Lewis thought
the
better.
Bobcats 25-yard line.
Yep.
Ball comes out to the
So
25-yard line.
probably a good move by Lewis. There was Blue Knight coverage coming down the lanes, and it didn't look like they were going to get much if they got out of there.
Yeah, that's right. You know, that's exactly what that rule change was intended to do, and you know, we've seen that quite a bit. That you know, why risk it when you get those extra 5 yards? All right, so 3 wide receivers set here for the Bobcats. Going to have 2 backs in the backfield, 1 lined up behind the quarterback, 1 lined up as a power back or an H back. And there, handoff the fake, and the flat throw into the flats is complete to number 43. That is the H back.
On the far sideline was number 13.
And that's number 43, Jonah Wellman.
And I noticed that they're using their third defensive end, Chuck. The Blue Knights are Marcus Omasoli as a defensive tackle against the Bobcats.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so again, this time now, both backs on the right side of Casey. Casey gets the snap. Casey looks under pressure, rolls to his right, throws complete to number 2. Again, number 2, that's Kenny Lewis Jr., the 6'4" sophomore, with a nice little grab, good enough for a first down. Bobcats right to the line.
And that was
number
quick
2,
tackle there.
Lewis Jr. tackled by 3 Knights. 1st and 10 on the play. Ball at the Bobcat.
We'll have to get a number on that.
Line.
All right, so again, 2 receivers to the top. Again, 2 backs on the right side of the quarterback, Luke Casey. Casey surveys the defense, calls for the ball. And the give is to number 27, the running back.
Oh, fumble! The Knights pick it up.
And Montgomery coughs it up, and again, finally dragged down by number 3, the receiver. But again, not until after a turnover.
Number 46, L.A. Kelly, the sophomore middle linebacker, scoops the ball up, gets about a 5-yard return, Chuck. And the Blue Knights are in business, and this is something we talked about in the pregame here.
Yeah, that's right. You know, we talked about keeping Urbana off the field and eliminating turnovers, and so far we've already seen 1 turnover now by the Bobcats. So, again, Bobcats really need to get a stop here. Don't want to end up down early in this game.
And Urbana ate up 5 minutes and 23 seconds on their first drive. Let's see if they can chip a little more away.
Yeah, I don't think this one will be that long.
It doesn't look like it. And they give it to Young. Young's off to his right, cuts back to the left, gets down to about the 32-yard line, pickup of about 3, and that's going to make it 2nd and 7 for the Blue Knights.
Making the stop, number 94, Trey Buford.
So 2 receivers to the right, Bray to the left. They've got Snyder in as the H-back, and he does shuffle motion left to right. And Young moves to the left to stock it, and it's given to Young. Young's off to the right. He cuts back. He's able to get just over the 30-yard line, picks up about 2 or 3, which is going to bring up a 3rd and 4 or 5 yards, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I'll tell you, nice job by number 52, Robbie Huddleston, to string that out to the sideline, finally forcing back inside, but there was just no room for Young to go.
Yeah, it really looked like Young was going to get a lot more on that, but credit the Bobcat defense. As you said, they strung them out.
All right, so Young comes out now. It looks like, Bill, we're going to go 5 wide here.
So the Blue Knights go empty. They've got 3 to the bottom of the screen, 2 receivers to the top. And, of course, this is where you could see a quarterback sneak if they clear the box out, which the box is looking pretty clean right now. Stockett looks to the middle.
Oh!
Oh!
I'll tell you, he was wide open, Bill.
And that was number 87. We'll have to get that one because he was
Yeah, that's Justin Dennis. We haven't seen him much. He's
No.
a 5'11 junior out of Binghamton, New York, and I'll tell you, he was wide open, Bill.
Yeah, Justin Dennis, the tight end there.
I'll tell you, Stockett just overthrew him there. That would have been an easy 6.
So, 4th down, and they're going to go for it. And why not?
Yeah, this down and distance, this point in the game, there's really no reason to do anything else right here.
Right. Oh, and they got
Uh-oh,
Khalil
uh-oh.
Trotman, number
That's
8.
right.
is
Look
re-
out for number 8, folks.
And
Oh, they leave him
Stockett,
in the block.
Stockett gets it out to number 87. And wow, I believe that's Dennis again.
Yeah, turning into the Justin Dennis show here.
And Justin Dennis scoots from about the 25-yard line all the way down to the 10, and that's going to be 1st and goal at the 10-yard line for the Blue Knights. Nice pitch and catch to Justin Dennis, and we haven't seen Justin too much this year, but
No, we sure haven't, but now I wonder where they've been hiding him.
yeah, well, he could have been hurt. We don't know.
That's right.
So, we've got Snyder in as the H-back. Young moves right up behind him. Stockett gives it to Young. He's off to the right. He cuts back hard to the end zone.
Nice run by Young.
Yeah, 10-yard run by Isaiah Young. And Chuck, he stuck his foot down in the turf and was determined to get to the end zone on
Yeah, he
that.
sure did. You're right. Good forward lean there for looked like all 10 yards of that right there, Bill. He was not going to be stopped.
Sure enough.
Determined.
And so Eric Ware's out, number 39, for the extra point. So it's 6:29 to go in the first period. It's already 13-0 Urbana. There's snap, the kick,
It's good.
and it's good. So that moves it to 14-0. And the Blue Knights are 100% on the drives right now as they're going 2 for 2, Chuck.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and we've seen this the past 2 games we've been here, Bill. The Urbana Blue Knights come out hot and put some points on the board, and boy, they're picking up right where they left off.
To the Urbana Blue Knights by visiting our social media channels on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Yeah, you know, the thing there, Chuck, I was going to say was the one thing we have noticed is Urbana in both games has jumped out to some big leads, and the opponents have crept back into it in the second half. So let's hope they stay consistent and keep this offense clicking, because if they do, they'll have a real good night tonight.
Yeah, that's right. And again, we know that this other team, West Virginia Wesleyan, can put some points on the scoreboard. So, you know, again, you're right. Urbana better not take their foot off the gas.
Yeah, you got to get as much distance between the Bobcats and you as possible, because they can score points, but there is a point where you make it real difficult for them to have enough possessions to get back into the game.
Well, that's right. You know, and not only that, but you force them to be one-dimensional, which is only going to play into the favor of this Urbana defense with their aggressive style of play.
Yeah. So beautiful, beautiful night down here in Urbana.
Yeah, it sure is. Again, boy, I guess you know this summer heat coming this late, but you know, I guess it is still summer for what, another 2 more days or so. I think the 22nd is the official end. So
the fall equinox.
That's right. That's right.
Throwing a little science in there.
Don't worry, folks. There won't be too much of that. All right, so getting ready to kick off now. The Bobcats go onto the field, as well as the Blue Knights.
And who do we have deep there for the Bobcats, Chuck?
Looks like deep again is going to be number 2, Kenny Lewis, and also number 82. That's Juwan Lindsay. And again, like we talked about, Lindsay's one to watch. We know he's explosive.
So Ware gets ready to kick off here.
Deep returners for West Virginia Wesleyan.
And there it is.
And the kick is off.
And he drives it deep into the end zone, where Lewis again is going to.
That's going to be Lewis, and the same result.
Lewis Jr. takes the kick in the end zone for the touchdown.
All right, so again, the Bobcats will take over 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line, and again, find themselves here in a quick hole, down 14-0, trying to make something happen here.
And Casey, of course, they've only had the ball one time, but really didn't push them downfield very much. It was more outs and short stuff to begin the game, and sometimes you want to get your quarterback into a rhythm like that.
Yeah, that's right, getting some easy throws before you get too aggressive. But again, you know, given the score, they're going to have to get more aggressive here. So 2 receivers to the bottom. Now you get a motion across to the top of the field. There's the snap. The give is to the running back, and that looks like that's number 8.
And that's Dante.
That is Dante Satcher, and again, Starcher, excuse me, with 145 yards.
And
I think it is Satcher, actually, Bill. And
is it? Okay.
Yeah, he's got 145 yards on the season, and got about 4 right there. So, and Satcher remains in the backfield now, lined up next to Casey. 3 receivers to the top. Casey gets a snap, looks to the left, throws to the flat. That's complete to number 82. Again, that is Juwan Lindsay, and Lindsay, they're trying to get in the ball in space there, but well played by Urbana. Lindsay stopped after just a 2-yard gain, so that's going to make it 2nd and 5 now. Again, Bobcats no huddle, right to the line. Casey moving around the players, getting them in formation. So looks like we're going to have 2 receivers to the bottom, 2 backs now in the backfield for Casey. Kind of an eye pistol look here. Casey with a snap, looks,
comes
pressure.
A rollout.
Oh, throws to the flat again, complete to Lindsay. Lindsay knocked out of bounds, but not until he can pick up a first down. It's going to be a gain of almost 10 yards, so going to bring it all the way down to the Bobcat 41-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10. Again, Bobcats right to the line of scrimmage.
Chris Richardson, number 18, on the tackle there for the Blue Knights.
Casey points out the blitzers. There's the snap. We've got a flag down. Dumps it off in the flat. Complete.
That's Satcher again.
Again, that is Satcher. And Satcher gets it all the way down to the Urbana 40. But again, we do have a flag prior to the snap. So let's check out what the penalty is here.
And Satcher is a good pass receiver. He is, I don't think we have it down there, but I remember going through the stats. He is right there with the receivers as far as number of catches, Chuck. So
illegal formation.
Yeah, so illegal formation to call.
77 and 74.
So the play will go for 9, and they'll be backed up 5 yards. That's going to make it now 1st and 15 for the Bobcats.
It's got to be tough for the Bobcats to be 0-3 with the offensive performances. And, Chuck, you get to a point where a couple more losses and the confidence is going to start going out.
Yeah, but you're right. They should have a lot of confidence in their offense
right
so far this season. Put a lot of points on the board. So Casey eyes the defense. 3 receivers to the top of the formation.
Oh, and here comes Tolliver. Oh, and he blows it up.
In the backfield. I'll tell you, he hit the back. He hit Starcher before he ever really got going there.
Yeah, drops him for a 2-yard loss, Chuck. And, he was right there when the ball was handed off. So there was no place for him to go.
Yeah, that's right. Again, Satcher just nowhere to go.
And we've got 2-by-2 set for the Bobcats.
All right, Casey eyes the defense. Satcher lined up to his left. Gives to Satcher around the right side. Hit in the backfield immediately. And I'll tell you what, Michael Tolliver again with another tackle for loss. He's been in that backfield, Bill, almost all night. Starcher banged up on the play.
And that's a 4-yard loss this time. So
yeah, 3rd and a long way. 3rd and Springfield, I think, now.
And, if we look at that, Chuck, I think those 2 plays, 4-yard losses apiece. And Tolliver, whether it be sacks or whether it be tackles for losses, he plays in the opponent's backfield.
Yeah, he sure does. And again, Satcher, the injured Bobcat. So we'll keep an eye on him. Again, hopefully that young man is okay.
And losing Satcher, if he's down for any period of time, Devin Montgomery is listed as the starter, the transfer, with 14 carries for 93 yards, but he's not done the Yeoman's share of the work.
No, that's right. Starcher's been the workhorse this year for this Bobcat team. So,
right.
We'll see what Montgomery can do here. Looks like he'll probably get a shot.
Sarcher's moving.
Yeah, and he rolled over immediately when he went down. So I think, hopefully it's a minor injury here. And again, very hot here tonight in Urbana. So, I think it's probably a little early for cramping, but you never know with this heat.
Yeah. And, of course, we didn't mention this last week, but the offensive coordinator for the Blue Knights is Jim Quardle, the former Ohio State
That's right, former
center.
Buckeye, yeah. So, okay, Satcher is up and being helped to the sideline now. And, again, he is walking off the field, so that's a positive sign.
Yeah, it looks like Satcher will be premature to say whether he'll be back, but it doesn't look real severe.
Yeah, that's right. So 27, Devin Montgomery does check in the game. Again, Montgomery, a 5'10", 211-pound junior who's had some big-time playing experience. So,
Yeah.
again, we'll see if he's able to make an impact here for the Bobcats.
3:57 to go in the first period.
All right, 3 receivers to the top of the formation now for Casey. And, again, Montgomery lined up to his right. There's the snap. Casey drops back.
3-man rush by the Blue Knights.
Throws to the middle, complete to number 88.
So Lindsay again.
Complete over the middle.
Is that 82? Is that Lindsay?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was-
Yep.
Making the reception, number 82.
I have to forgive my old eyes, Bill.
They get back about 8 of it, Chuck. That
Yeah, but I'll tell you, they had about 20 to go.
Yeah,
so
they did.
Still going to be about 4th and 14, and the Bobcats are going to be forced to punt. So on to punt for the Bobcats is number 59, Tyler Fisher. And Fisher, one of those, commodities you're starting to see more and more, does both duties. But I take that back. That's actually number 95, Jake Stafford, the redshirt freshman. So Stafford fields a low kick.
Craig Burt back for the Blue Knights is a short kick.
Yeah, it's going to hit about the 32 and take a Bobcat roll.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to roll all the way down to about inside the 15-yard line, Bill.
Yep. And that's where the Blue Knights will take over. And Craig Burt was the deep man on that, Chuck, which we hadn't seen a whole lot of Craig in there. He's a sophomore wide receiver.
Yeah, that's right. We're used to seeing Khalik Muhammad back there, but, we did see Muhammad get a little banged up last week. So.
And actually, we haven't seen a lot of Khalik in the game.
No, we really haven't. In fact,
it's number 7 is in there right now, which is Chad.
Is that Khalik on the sideline right there,
I think
Bill?
it is.
Yeah, I think it is. He might be in street clothes.
So would be even more impressive for the Blue Knights to do that without their leading receiver.
Yeah,
the way
that's
they
right.
perform. Stockett moves the running back to his left, and he gives it to Trotman, and Trotman cuts back to the middle for a couple yards.
Yeah, just too much penetration there by the Bobcats. Stockman, never really got his feet going, kind of hesitated there at the line, and Bobcats swallow him up right there for a really short gain of maybe half a yard.
Yeah. And, of course, Urbana would love to go on one of those 5-minute drives again that would, get them into the second period.
Yeah, they sure would.
So Stockett moves Trotman over to his right. And then we got a little option. He gets it out to Trotman on the edge.
Uh-oh, ball's loose. Oh, no, it's a helmet. Sorry, Bill, a helmet popped off there.
Number 30's helmet came
Yeah, I saw something rolling. I assumed it was a football, but
Fumble!
no. That's right. That was number 30, Malcolm Kuttner. Lost his lid there, so he's going to have to come out for a play.
And Kuttner is responsible for Trotman's 2-yard loss there.
Yeah.
So it's going to make it 3rd and 12.
I'll tell you, Bill, I never hit somebody so hard I knocked my own helmet off.
A lot of times I have to wonder how securely they're fastened, Chuck.
Are you implying that maybe the buckles weren't quite where they needed to be?
Yeah, I think that happens sometimes. So Stockett empties it with 3 to the left, 2 to the right. He drops quick. He looks. And he's got number 7.
Oh!
And that is, I believe, that's Chad Swanson, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, 23, Zachariah Johnson, dropping back in coverage, tried to high point that ball, went just through his fingertips. And again, you're right, complete to number 7, Chad Swanson.
23-yard completion for Eddie Stockett, and a new set of downs for the Blue Knights. 1:19 to go in the first period. Eddie gets ready, and it looks like Isaiah Young's back. And gets the ball out quick to Swanson. Swanson's up over the 45-yard line.
Another Blue Knight first down, Bill.
And you got to be impressed with Eddie Stockett. He's getting the ball out quick, and he knows where he wants to put it.
Yeah, that's right. We talked about that in the pregame. He just looked more and more confident as the season's gone on, and you're right. He is on right now.
Yes, he is. Chad Swanson getting a little playing time with Khalil Mohammed on the sideline this week.
Ball at the 46, first and
Okay,
10.
so Isaiah Young moves to the left of Eddie Stockett. And there it is to Young. He's off to his right. He bounces and gets up to maybe the 48-yard line, couple-yard gain.
I'll tell you, Bill, you have to give this Bobcat defense a lot of credit. We weren't sure what to expect out of them, but they've done a nice job getting off blocks at the point of attack, and they've really, played on the other side of the ball.
I think he's actually done a really decent job of helping keep these drives alive, you know, and or I mean, stopping some of these drives as far as getting in there. I'm back now.
Second down and 9.
So we've got Stockett in the pistol, moves Young to his right, gives the ball, the play action fake, and it's Swanson again.
Swanson again, yeah.
And that's about a 20-yard pickup down to about the 36-yard line.
Yeah, Johnson finally slings him down, but you're right, not before he can pick up another first down.
This has been the Chad Swanson drive on this one.
Sure has.
Quarter is complete.
So that's the end of one, Bill. So, folks, your score at the end of one, Urbana Blue Knights 14, the West Virginia Wesleyan Bobcats 0.
You know, what's got to be encouraging for Coach Haynes is you've got Chad Swanson on this drive. The drive before you had Justin Dennis catch a lot of passes there.
Yeah, pick your poison for this Urbana Blue Knights offense.
And you're picking up some nice depth.
Contestant number 1, show us your moves. What do you have there?
So we are in between.
Yeah, we got a little dance competition going on in the end zone there.
All righty.
All right, let's see what this young man can do. Touchdown dance. Uh-oh, he's hitting the dirt.
All right, and let's see what contestant number 3 can do for us.
If he starts break dancing, let's hope he doesn't break himself.
Oh, Bill. Oh, Bill. Uh-oh.
All right, let's hear it now. Let's hear your applause for contestant number 1. What do you have to say?
All right, nice job by those 3 young men there showing off their touchdown dances.
And how about a round of applause?
I'm glad we don't have to pick the winner, Bill.
I'm glad we don't have to do it, Chuck.
I'm more glad of that. You're right.
Free pizza.
Oh, free pizza. Maybe we should have tried that one, Bill.
I think eventually we might get some up here, Chuck.
Let's hope. So, first and 10 now for the Blue Knights from the Bobcat 38-yard line.
And so Eddie Stockett brings him up, and he is getting ready to get the Blue Knights cranking here in the second period. Isaiah Young joins him in the backfield, and Dylan Snyder is the H-back to the right side, right in front of Young. Young gets the ball. He bounces off to the left. He gets down to the 35, but not much more than that.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of room up front to run. Again, the Bobcats bounce him out wide there, and finally brought down by Johnson again. Zachariah Johnson's been all over the place for this West Virginia Wesleyan defense.
And some good speed, Chuck. I mean, the West Virginia defense runs them down, so, you know, they've been more successful running right at them than they have when they've tried to run wide.
Yeah, that's right. They just keep forcing them wider and wider, and there's just nothing there.
So 3 receivers to the right. Young lines up to the right of Stockett. They look to the sideline to get the call. And Stockett gets the ball and he gives it to Young, and Young is up to about the 32 maybe.
Yeah, he's going to pick up about 4, Bill, but again, this Bobcat defense, gang tackling, not letting him get away.
And that's going to bring up a 3rd and about 5. So I would expect we might see the ball in the air on this. Maybe a little play action to the back, and they've had great success with those slants. The linebackers haven't been able to get underneath those.
Yeah, they really have. You know, Bill, one thing I've noticed about the West Virginia Wesleyan Bobcats is their linebackers are pretty large.
Yeah.
And I think those guys might have some trouble getting into those zones if they have to drop back too much.
Could be. And it's Eddie Stockett keeps it. He's up over the 25, down to the 25-yard line. I'll tell you what, Stockett showed some quickness on that one.
Yeah, he sure did. I'll tell you, once he decided to keep that, he was gone.
And that was a read option. He faked the Hickey and then just followed Hickey right up the hole.
Yeah, that's right. Turned into a lead play. And again, like you said, just got in his hip pocket and followed him up through. And with a nice gain there for Stockett.
Yeah, so that brings the chains up to a 1st and 10 situation again. And with 13:21 to go, the Blue Knights are down to the 20-yard line of the Bobcats.
Yeah, they just continue to roll, don't they?
Yep, 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. He moves Hickey to his right, and he gives the ball to Hickey. Hickey's over to 20, over to 15, down to about the 12-yard line, about an 8-yard gain for David Hickey, and nice piece of running to the left side there.
Yeah, that's right. I think that might be the longest run other than Stockton the other night.
I would agree, and I think that where Young hadn't been able to get that edge that time. Didn't look like the Bobcats expected Hickey to go wide, and he was able to pick up nice yardage.
All right, so
3 receivers to the right.
Mr. Excitement back in the game in the backfield, Bill. Khalil Trotman.
Yes, indeedy. And we've got
Second down 2 for the Knights.
3 to the right. Stockett talks to Trotman. And it's a little play action fake to Trotman. He goes to the corner. And I think we're going to get defensive holding on that.
Yeah, we are, Bill. I'll tell you what. And check my number here, 13. Craig Burt was really pleading his case right away. And judging by where the pass went, I think you're right. He got held way early in that route.
Let me say we had a cluster of receivers over there.
I think that's putting it mildly.
Yes, and there was no place to go. 6'4", 185-pound freshman from Columbus Centennial, Craig Burt. Craig is a big target, Chuck.
Yeah, he is. I tell you, this Blue Knight staff has to be excited to have a freshman like that.
Yeah.
On the eligible receiver, number 23. After this to the goal, first down.
Number 67, Connor Gleason comes in, the redshirt freshman, for number 78, Chris Hawkins.
All right, after the penalty, Bill, that's going to move them down to about the 6-yard line, so it's going to be first and goal from right there.
We've got 3 receivers to the left. We've got Isaiah Young to the left. Stockett moves Young a little bit further, gives it to Young. Young is off to the right. He's in the end zone. Touchdown, Blue Knights.
I'll tell you, Young got the edge that time, Bill.
Yeah, he did. He wanted that one. And with 12:21 to go in the second period, it moves out to 20-0 in favor of the Urbana Blue Knights. So, again, a nice drive, and Urbana's offense really hasn't missed too many opportunities.
No, they really haven't. They've been running on all cylinders tonight, Bill. And, again, like we talked about, though, you can't let up against this Bobcat team.
Now, Eric Ware's point is good.
The kick is true.
And that makes it 21-0 in favor of the Blue Knights.
All right, so 12:21 to go in the half.
And, of course, also going on tonight, Charleston University is at Fairmont State. The battle of the undefeated, Chuck.
Yeah, that's right. A big game at top of the Mountain East tonight.
Yep. Fairmont is 2-0 in the league, and Charleston's 3-0. So this could set the pace real early here for one of those two teams. And, of course, Notre Dame College out of Euclid, Ohio, is also tied in there. And there's AD, Antonio Davis.
That's right. Of course, AD, the proud papa of one of the backup quarterbacks here.
Yes, indeedy.
Also a great friend of the broadcast.
And it's number 16, Zarin Davis, the 6'4", 215-pound redshirt freshman. That is the son of Antonio A.D. Davis. If you don't know Antonio, he was the quarterback of the PFL Super Bowl champion Cincinnati Chiefs, Chuck.
That's right. That's right. Again, you mentioned it before on this broadcast, but the semi-pro football awful strong in Ohio this year.
Now, we saw some good football. And, of course, we had an opportunity to watch the Dayton Hornets. And they had Jalen Marshall of Ohio State and the New York Jets playing for them for a good portion of the season.
That's right. Very exciting player at any level.
Yes, and it was a treat to see Marshall out there, and he's hoping to catch on with an NFL team again. It didn't happen this year, but maybe a CFL team and an NFL team. We'll just have to see how that plays.
You just never know. That's right. All right, so again, Bobcats set to receive here, and again, deep for the Bobcats again will be number 2, Kenny Lewis Jr., as well as
Jawan.
Looks like that's also, again, still Jawan Lindsay. Again, Lindsay, the sophomore, redshirt sophomore, and leading receiver for this Bobcat offense.
Eric Ware kicking off for the Blue Knights. He drives the ball high, not very far, down to about the 18-yard line, where Lewis fields it.
Lewis takes it up the middle.
Oh, and pops through to the 30. Oh, we're going to have a flag.
Yeah, we've got a flag. I'll tell you, somebody signed that ref up. That was a heck of a throw of that flag.
You know what that reminded me, Chuck? You remember the old game, lawn darts? or jarts.
I do. I also remember Lomas Browners getting hit in the face mask by one of those, and very reminiscent of that.
I'll tell you what, that thing was launched. It was like they had a grenade launcher out there.
Yeah,
when
that's
they
right.
Shot
Like I
that
said,
one.
somebody signed that guy up.
Probably ex-Marine or something there.
Throw somebody out at the plate with a throw like that.
Yes, he could.
Jeez, so let's see what the call is. What he saw from 30 yards away.
Looked like he was trying to drop it right on top of the player there.
Yeah, that's right.
Consequences of the last play.
So I hope we have that on replay. Maybe we can get that.
Yeah, I hope so.
We'll get that on campus now.
Get that on replay. Has to go on the Campus Nation top 10 plays of the week.
See, that would be one of those ones that John Madden would take the telestrator and goes, you gotta like the arc on that thing.
Illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 5. These penalties offset.
Okay, so offsetting penalties.
So a lot
And they're going to re-kick?
of dirty laundry out there, and it comes out.
Deja
Let's
vu
do it
all
again.
over
Yeah, that's right.
And I think Eric Ware would probably be happy because that was one of his shorter kicks he's had.
Yeah, that's right. You know, again, Kenny Lewis fielded that on about the 10-yard line. So, you know, the previous kickoffs have all been in the end zone. So you're right. You got Kenny Lewis and Juwan Lindsay deep for the Bobcats here.
And their numbers are getting better there, Chuck, because they've had a lot of duty there on kickoff returns.
Yeah,
so
they
far.
sure have. Got a lot of work back there.
Juwan Lindsay.
Okay, so again,
Chuck, are you bird watching out there?
I am.
Okay.
Lewis and Lindsay deep now.
Okay. So we are getting ready for the kickoff. Eric Ware, ready for the kick. And again,
Another
high
short kick.
looping kick. At the
Uh-oh,
25-yard line.
Boy, Lindsay just had to fall on it there after it hit the turf in front of him. And I'll tell you, Bobcats lucky to hold on to possession right there, Bill.
I tell you what, they were one bad bounce away from being in a real bad situation.
Yeah, they really were. I'll tell you, that ball was really moving to the sideline. And I think that Lindsay thought it was going to hit and just go out of bounds, but it hit and died right there.
I think you're right about that.
So again, fortunate bounce for the Blue Knights there, but it's still going to be at about the 25-yard line. That's where the Bobcats will take over 1st and 10. 4 wide receivers set, 2 to each side of the formation. There's a snap and the give up the middle to the running back, and again, that
On
is
the carry up the middle, number 27.
that is
for the
Devin
Bobcats.
Montgomery again with a carry
Devin
right up the
Montgomery.
middle, and again, Casey gets them right lined up, same formation, right back to the line of scrimmage.
Dragged down by 52 Marcus Omaselli.
Casey eyes the defense. There's a snap. This time fakes the handoff and throws complete to number 9. That's Derek Drainin. And again, Drainin, his catch is going to be good enough for a first down there. So right at the marker,
And I'll
they
tell
move
you what,
the sticks.
Tobias Haley knew where that ball was, and he was about a second late from.
Yeah, that's right. And again, you know, he got a pretty good lick on Drainin there, and Drainin's still down.
Yeah. And as we talked about, Tobias Haley's hits have been somewhat legendary in the first few weeks, and
Yeah, that's right. Like we talked about, you better know where he is if you're on the field.
he saw that ball in the air, and he was just about there. So
Yep. And thankfully, it looks like this may be our first cramp of the night. Given the heat of today, not surprising there. They're stretching out young Derek Drainin there on the field. So, again, Drainin, a 6'1", 181-pound redshirt junior. And Drainin's up and going to jog off the field. So, again, looks like just a cramp there, hopefully, for that young man. And Bobcats will take over 1st and 10 now from the 36-yard line.
And, of course, in the NFL tonight, the Cleveland Browns take on the New York Jets.
That's right, a little Thursday night matchup.
Chuck's Jets and
Bill's Browns.
My Brownies. So,
And we're here.
and we'll get the second half of it, Chuck.
That's right, maybe.
Maybe.
All right, so one receiver to each side this time in the formation.
First
Again, Montgomery up the middle. Montgomery.
Oh, ball's out.
Ball's out.
And I think it might be the Blue Knights. Because that ball was sitting right on top of a player.
Yeah, it was. I'll tell you, Montgomery ended up falling backwards and really couldn't reacquire the ball. But no, they're able to come back with it. So second down, the signal.
And Montgomery picked up 3, but not after a host of Blue Knights whacked them.
Yeah, that's right. And we're going to get another running back in the game now. The new back is number 46. That's Shaq Freeman Parks. And he's a redshirt freshman out of Dayton, Ohio.
Yep. And so a 3-man front for the Blue Knights as we go to 2nd and 8. And they give it to Freeman.
Give it to Freeman Parks. And
ooh!
Parks able to pick up about 3 before he gets pulled down violently there by the Blue Knight defense. That's going to make it 3rd and about 5 now for the Bobcats, right from their own 41-yard line.
And that was L.A. Kelly, and of course none other than Michael Tolliver on that.
Yeah, no surprise there. So big 3rd down here for the Bobcats. They really need to convert. This Urbana crowd getting behind their defense here.
10 minutes to go, and the Blue Knights have dominated up to this point.
2 backs in the backfield now for the Bobcats. Casey gets the snap. It's a low snap. He's able to pick it up. Rolls to his right.
For Casey.
Throws. It's complete to number 85. That is the wide receiver, Brandon Ford, and that's going to be good for a 1st down. So, again, Bobcats able to convert there on a big 3rd and 5. Now that's 1st and 10 right at midfield.
And that was number 22.
Yeah, nice job by Casey there to get composure off the low snap, pick it up, and able to find his receiver Ford there for the 1st down. So, again, 4-wide formation, 2 to each side of the line of scrimmage. Each side of the line. There's the snap.
Let's give to Freeman. Oh!
Yep. Give is to Shaq, and Shaq, there was a loss of about 5 yards.
And guess who?
Yeah, a little too much picking there, I think, out of the running back, looking for a hole and just never developed there.
And Michael Tolliver did exactly what you tell defensive ends to do, Chuck, is follow at the depth of the running back, and if they cut back, you got him, and he just ran
exactly
them down.
Right. Built that fence and just stayed right there.
Yes, he did.
All right, so Freeman Parks remains in the backfield now. Casey puts a man in motion to the bottom of the formation. There's the snap to give to Freeman Parks again. No, the fake.
A little pressure. Casey
tucks it. He's going to pick up another 1st down, Bill.
I think he might. Well, they're going to give it to him.
With the spot, he's got it. That's a 1st down. 1st and 10 Bobcats from the 40-yard line of the Blue Knights.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be short, but he did stretch it out.
Yeah, he didn't slide there, so, going head first there. That's what got him the 1st.
Yes, indeed. So 1st down for the Bobcats at the Blue Knight 40-yard line, and they've encroached into the Blue Knight territory now.
Yeah, they sure have. So, again, Freeman Parks, the back, next to the quarterback, Casey.
Play action.
Casey looks down the middle of the field. Intended for number 43, Jonah Wellman, the tight end, but that falls incomplete. Wellman actually lined up in the backfield there as a fullback.
Yeah.
And that's going to make it 2nd and 10 now from the 40-yard line of the Blue Knights.
I think anymore, Chuck, fullbacks, they line them up like, or tight ends, they line them up like H-backs or slots.
Yeah, that's right. You have to be able to play all 3 of those positions anymore. You're right.
Right. All
right, so 2 receivers at the bottom of the formation, solo receiver to the top. There's a snap, and the give is to Freeman Parks, but he's hit. He's going to get back to it's actually going to be dropped for a little bit of a loss there. So it's not going to be 3rd and 11 for the Bobcats from the 41-yard line, excuse me.
Loss of a yard on the play, ball back at the 41.
And I think that was Marcus Umasoli who dragged him down.
All right, so again, 2 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. 2 backs in the backfield now with Casey. Probably a max protect look here, I would guess, and it is.
A little pressure there.
Casey rolls to his left, throws.
Way out of bounds.
Yeah, just again falls incomplete, and
pressure was supplied by graduate Blake Harper, who's in his 5th year here, so he's a graduate student working on his master's. Decided to come back and had a year of eligibility and got one a little more play.
That's great. Yeah.
So that'll bring up 4th down, Chuck, and they are going to punt.
Yeah, Bobcats are going to punt again. Out to punt, I believe that's number 95, Jake Stafford again. And Stafford's 1 step and kick, and I'll tell you, he banged it down inside the 5. Let's see if they can down it.
Oh,
And they're not able to keep it out of the end zone. But
great effort, though.
yeah, it really was. We do have a flag on the play. Let's see what that is.
41-yard punt.
I'm anxiously waiting for this one.
Well, Bill, you just need to calm down.
Not quite sure what this would be.
Calm down, Bill. So again, the referees huddle now at the about the 20-yard line. They're going to discuss it.
Yep, that's what I was just. Is it
Engineer Rick Phillips says they're going to pick it up.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Dead ball. Unsportsmanlike.
Oh.
Receiving team number 3. After this to goal. First down. That is number 3's first UNS.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but Devontae McKee picks up the personal foul there. So and Devontae needs to be careful the rest of this game. He doesn't want to get tossed.
And Devontae is the starting corner.
Timeout on the field. Media timeout.
That'd be a big loss for the Blue Knights.
Hey, it's a media timeout, guys.
That's right. Yeah, we have
so you are listening to Campus Nation.
You're watching Campus Nation.
You're watching Campus Nation.
That's right.
On YouTube and Campus Nation, and we're not on Facebook Live, but
that's all right.
Give us time.
That's right. And again, just a reminder, guys.
We've got Rick back here playing with his switcher.
That's right. You can join our crew Saturday as we travel to Frankfort, Kentucky, home of the Kentucky State Thoroughbreds, as they host the Central State Marauders at 4 o'clock. And that game's coverage will be available on flowsports.com and rebroadcast at a later time on Campus Nation, if I'm not mistaken. But again, you want to catch that live, you're going to have to register and log on to Flow Sports.
Yeah. And, of course, on Campus Nation, we will be at Wilmington.
That's right.
For the Wilmington homecoming game against Muskingum College.
Yeah, the Magenta line. Yep. Making a visit to Wilmington. And
the Magenta Muskies.
That's right.
So we'll see if Coach Moore can dial up another W in this early part of the season for the Quakers.
That's right. So, again, the Blue Knights are getting set to take over now. 1st and 10 from their own 10-yard line.
Eddie Stockett in the gun, and strange place to empty it, but they're going a 3x2.
They sure do.
Yeah. 3 to the left, 2 to the right. Stockett by himself in the backfield. Motions Bray and gives it to him on the jet sweep, and Bray's over to 10, 15.
Nope, that's not Bray, Bill. I bet that's
Oh, is that Khalil?
I bet it's Khalil.
It's about 9 yards.
It could be.
And it is. It's Trotman.
Khalil Trotman.
Trotman picks up about 9. Again, like we talked about, they try to find a lot of different ways to get the ball in his hands.
Yeah,
and,
check that. Sorry, Khalil.
Yeah.
Then we got 3 receivers to the right and 1 to the left. And now he puts Trotman up in the slot to the left.
So and another empty backfield.
Yeah, they empty it again. And there's...
They fake it this time.
Trotman, he fakes and intended for Burt.
Yeah, just overthrew him a little bit, let him bit too much.
The big freshman wide receiver.
That's right, boy. Impressive looking freshman, big body out there.
And Chuck, what we've seen here in the first and second quarter is Coach Haynes just getting new players in there, both on offense and defense, and getting a lot of reps tonight for a lot of kids.
Yeah, that's right.
And that'll pay off down the road, especially if injuries start to rise up and bite the Blue Knights. At least these kids will be in game situations.
Yeah, that's right. So 3rd and short now for the Blue Knights.
They're down 1.
Oh, Young hit immediately in the backfield. And
I think
he's going to, I think he lost a yard there, Bill.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I think it was number 45, Denelius Brown.
So here comes
in the backfield right away. No, I take that back. That was 48. That was Cole Skaggs, and Skaggs with a big play there to end the drive.
And so we're going to see the first punt of the night tonight for Brandon Perk. Perk is averaging 40 yards a kick this year.
Number 82,
He's had some nice kicks. So, again, deep for the Bobcats is 82, Juwan Lindsay.
And Lindsey is a dangerous punt returner for the Bobcats.
Yes, he is, standing at about midfield.
A
And
nice high kick, not real deep. And it takes,
a nice Bobcat bounce, and it's going to roll out of bounds, Bill, at about the Urbana 38-yard line.
Yeah.
So that's where the Bobcats will take over, 1st and 10. Again, 5:48 to go here in the first half. Your score, Urbana 21, West Virginia Wesleyan 0.
And I would say, Chuck, that next offensive series, I would think you might see the Blue Knights bring the first guys back, depending on how this drive goes here.
Yeah, that's right. Again, there's a lot of football left to play here tonight, so.
Yeah, you don't want to give the troops too much rest yet.
That's right. 2-by-2 look now for the Bobcats. This time the running back is 25, Mason Brubeck. The fake to Brubeck, the throw to number 19 on the left sideline. 19, that's Sterling Dudney, and he gets down to about the 30-yard line, so that's going to be a gain of about 5. Actually, a little short of the 30, about the 34-yard line. So
Dudney's a big kid there.
Yes, he is. Long, lanky receiver. So Dudney lined up by himself to the bottom of the formation. 3 receivers to the top. Back offset to the right of Casey. Casey this time fakes again and finds number 7. And the ball comes out.
And it's a Blue Knight ball, Chuck.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that was complete to Jalen Jones, but Jones got popped and the football came out and Blue Knights able to jump on it. So again, another turnover tonight by this Bobcat offense.
And as we identified early on, the turnovers had to be minimal if the Bobcats were going to come away with a victory.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And again, so far that is not proving to be the case.
No, they've not treated the ball with a lot of respect, and subsequently Urbana's been able to take the ball away quite a few times here.
That's right. Urbana hasn't shown them a lot of respect.
No, they haven't.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 Blue Knights now from the 20-yard line.
And I think you got the number 1 offense back, just as we had talked about. 2 receivers to each side here.
20, 1st and 10 for the Knights.
Young.
I'll tell you, Bill, who's the receiver at the top of the formation there? That's a tall receiver there for Urbana.
We'll see if that's Swanson or not. And the option, fake
That is
option.
Swanson, yep.
And Stockett.
Oh, dangerous throw there.
Stockett's pass.
And Stockett may have jammed his wrist, Chuck, as he
Yeah, I'll
went
tell
down.
you, that was a dangerous play there. Jesse Bray, that was the closest one to it. But again, like you said, Stockett here banged up, and he's going to have to come out of the game here. Let's see what the injury is.
I think when Stockett went down, he jammed his wrist. Now, it looks like it's his left hand. And if there's a good thing about that is if it's not broken, we'll see Eddie Stockett back sometime.
Yeah, I imagine we will. But
Antonio Davis probably does. I wonder if Antonio's got some eligibility. Oh, he can't.
we don't need Antonio tonight. We got Zarin Davis there.
Yeah, we
Let's see if Zarin gets a look. He's listed as the backup on the depth chart. And let's see who it's going to be.
And it is Zarin Davis, I believe.
Is that 16?
I thought it was 16.
All right.
Zarin Davis.
And it
Sure
is Zarin Davis. So Zaris getting his first action here on Campus Nation that we've seen.
And he's got Isaiah Young to his right, 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Davis gets it and gives it. Oh, he's going to keep it. And he takes it on a read option right up the middle for about an 8-yard gain, Chuck.
Yeah, nice little run. Davis able to fall forward and use that long body to stretch out for another yard. That's going to make it 2nd or 3rd, and we'll call it a long 3 now for the Blue Knights.
And that's a nice nerve calmer, Chuck, is keep the ball, run it, pick up some yards.
Yeah, that's right. Let him get hit a little bit,
Yeah.
let him get into this game. And that's right. I think a good first call there for the new quarterback.
Yeah. So 3 receivers to the top of the screen, 1 to the right. Davis takes it, and he keeps it, and he rolls out to his right. He's over to 30, 35. It should be a first down, but I think we might have holding here.
Got a flag in that magical holding zone, though, Bill, so let's see what comes out of it.
And when you got the big guys with their hands on their hips, and there's 3 of them looking at each other there, you know it's not good, Chuck.
Probably not. No, you're right. And, the preliminary indication is holding against the Blue Knights, so that's going to wipe out another nice run by Davis, but it's going to give him a shot at his first 3rd and long.
Would have been a nice time for a team shot at the offensive line there as they all stared at him. So
It wasn't me.
it wasn't me. One of the few miscues for the Blue Knights, Chuck.
Yeah, that's right. You know, they played a pretty clean game tonight so far, and
I mean, most
you
of
know,
the
coach has
penalties
to be happy with that.
have been in the kicking game, and we expect that anymore, is that there's always going to be a flag in every kicking play.
Yeah, that's right. So clock kicking down here, just outside of 4 minutes left here in the half. Another draw, and Davis up the middle, and he's still going to get about 5, but on 3rd and 10, that's going to come up a little short, so Blue Knights are going to be forced to punt.
For the Bobcats, Robbie Huddleston.
And there you are. Looks like they're still talking to Stockett down there.
Brandon Perk
They're checking
from
his-
Mechanicsburg in punt formation for the Knights.
Checking his wrist. And
Deep to receive.
so we will see what happens here.
All right, Jawan Lindsay set back deep to receive the kick. He's standing on his own 45-yard line.
There's the snap. A little pressure applied. Ooh, nice.
Yeah, a lot better kick this
Kick
time.
by
Lindsay
Perk.
calls for the fair catch, and he makes it right about the 46-yard line. So that's where it'll be 1st and 10 now for the Bobcats with just over 3 minutes, 3:15 to go here in the second quarter.
Brandon Perk with a high kick and no opportunity for a return. And that's the way you'd like to have him, Chuck.
Yeah, that's right. Again, you don't want to give Jawan Lindsay a lot of chances with the football, and that's a good way to eliminate one right there.
Yeah, for sure.
So 2 receivers, actually 3 receivers at the top of the formation. Lone receiver to the bottom of the formation. Again, 1 running back lined up on Casey's right. Casey gets the snap, fakes the handoff, throws complete to number 9, and again, number 9, that is Derek Drainin, who we saw go out earlier with probably what we believe was a cramp, and he's a little limp getting up there again, and we'll see if he's able to stay in the game.
Well,
But you can tell he's obviously in some discomfort there, and
Tobias
they get
Haley
him out.
slung him down to the ground when he got up there.
yeah, he sure did. So number 7, Jalen Jones, is now going to check in the ball game. 3 receivers to the bottom of the formation, 1 to the top. Again, the running back is number 25. That is Mason Brubeck. He's lined up to the left of Casey.
So we've got, and here comes pressure from all over the
Casey with a
place.
snap, fakes to Brubeck, complete to number 82.
Ooh, and Lindsay.
And again, that's Lindsay. Lindsay going to
Oh!
be good for a first down and a lot more. It's going to be down to the Blue Knight 39-yard line.
15 yards on the
Gain of
play.
about 15.
Tobias Haley brought him down, but number 26 came in for the finish on that. Where do you get that name? That is 26.
Yeah, that's an Ajay Davenport.
Yeah, Najee came flying over the top of that pile.
Yeah, 2-by-2 look now for the Bobcats. There's the snap.
Casey getting pressure.
Oh, Casey complete this time again.
L.A. Kelly with the tackle.
Yeah, he hits his back. Brubeck out of the backfield, but that's going to be for a very short gain.
No relation to Dave.
Going to make it 2nd and about 9.
Less than 2 minutes in the half left, Chuck, so they're going to have to get going if they want to get some points.
Yeah, they sure are, but I'll tell you, I think they'd be content just to keep Urbana away from the football the rest of this half, the way it's going right now.
Or maybe get their field goal kicker on there for at
Something,
least
that's right.
a little something. For
I'll tell you, I saw him make one from this distance in warm-up. So.
Oh, pressure.
Oh, and throws down the field, looking for number 2, Kenny Lewis Jr., but again, falls harmlessly incomplete. Casey a little high there and overthrows him.
Yeah, that was a completely uncatchable ball. And
Yeah, it really was.
I think Casey was feeling a little Blue Knight fever there as they were closing in on him.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, Bill.
Okay, so we've got 3rd and 10.
2-by-2 look now for the Bobcats. Again, Brubeck lined up to the right of Casey.
And I would expect to see pressure out of the Blue Knight.
Blue Knight's
front
got a lot of people at the line of scrimmage, Bill. Now they back out.
And they bring 3. Oh, and it's
Casey under pressure.
Oh, number 48.
He's going to go down.
Jamari Collins.
With the stop on number 48.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Jamari Collins.
Jamari Collins.
He's just too big to run that fast, Bill.
I tell you what, he was the beneficiary of the 2 defensive ends just bending everything to the
Yeah, it just
inside.
collapsed.
And there was no place to go.
Yeah, you could tell Casey was uncomfortable from the start. And so it's going to make it now 4th and about 18. And obviously the Bobcats are in a punting situation here. 52 seconds to go. I'm kind of surprised Urbana's not calling a timeout here.
And I think they're content here, it looks like.
I think they must be. You're right, because they're just going to let the clock run. And
So Craig Burt back deep.
Wesleyan in no hurry to kick this ball.
No, and I think,
In fact, they're going to take the penalty here.
yeah, and I suspect that's
Help
not,
their kicker out a little bit.
yeah.
Just more room for him to kick, right?
Yeah, it is.
Good game.
And you know, when I was coaching, Chuck,
Number
we had
95.
well, actually, I've been
penalty,
blessed to have a couple
fourth
good
down.
punters, and we would do that occasionally.
Yeah. I bet you even had an assistant that told you that.
We had several that would tell me that
Yeah.
too. So yeah, if you got the kicker, it's worth taking that 5 yards.
That's right. That's right.
And there's 38.6 seconds to go in the half. It's
All
nice
right, so
kick.
Stafford gets off, a better kick here. And it's going to be fair caught at about the 14-yard line. And
Craig Burt.
I'll tell you, I don't know, Bill, did you catch that fair catch in that Arkansas game last week with North Texas?
Yes, I did.
Or I should say the no fair
The
catch?
no fair catch.
Yeah.
Boy, that was embarrassing for the Razorbacks. on
Yeah,
that
it really
one.
was, I'll tell you.
A Division I football team should not be letting that stuff happen.
That's right. And North Texas really laid one on the Razorbacks on that one.
Yeah. So,
All right, so that's where the Blue Knights will take over here. And it looks like they're going to go in victory O here and just take a knee and get out of this half.
Station won't be doing any broadcasts from Arkansas.
yeah, you probably we're banned. Oh well.
Hey, I'm very familiar with Razorback country, and I can tell you they love their Razorbacks down
Yes,
there.
they do.
They love their Hogs.
And
All right, so looked like they were going to take a knee, but Wesleyan calls a timeout here. So
well, and they have 3 timeouts.
West Virginia Wesleyan.
yeah,
Their first of the half.
So they may make this a little dicey here. You
yeah,
can't-
they're going to take advantage of the field goal here. Maybe try to force a bad kick or even come after a kick and try to make something happen here.
And I do not know if we'll see Eddie Stockett again tonight. But he was, yeah. Yeah, so looks like he will not be with us. And it is his right. I think they're messing with his right hand. So.
Yeah, I think you're right, Bill. So, I think Stockett's return is dubious at this point at best.
Yes. And at halftime, we will be having Rick Rykow, a
50-50
former
tickets still
Urbana
on sale.
offensive lineman.
Green shirts. Some of them belong
Rick
to
will be
basketball
coming on to
players.
talk
Sorry,
about his
50-50
days here at
tickets.
Urbana.
Can't win if you don't play. Now's your chance to do it because we'll draw
All
at
right,
halftime.
so the
And,
Bobcats defense returns to the field, Bill, and Urbana, let's see what they do here. And obviously they're not going to take another knee
Ricks
here.
will escort the winner home tonight.
Yes, indeedy.
Actually in a shotgun formation.
And I think is that Young?
That is Young, yep, around the right edge. And
21 seconds to go. I don't know if this is going to really work out to their advantage to do this, but
yeah, I mean, basically they're
you're going to
they're
get
looking at the kick, and that's going to be it. Maybe one snap after the kick, but
Timeout. West Virginia Wesleyan. Their second of the half.
so yeah, Wesleyan does take another timeout like we expected, and
And you really, if you're Urbana, you want to think about some play that's safe but can eat up at least 10 seconds.
exactly, yeah.
And it only leaves 10 seconds left for them to have to punt and not much time for
You can still
Wesleyan.
tell the world where you've been tonight. Share your experiences. Connect with other fans. Gain behind
Of course, this
the scenes
weekend the
access to
Buckeyes
Urbana Blue
play
Knights.
Tulane, and
Visit the social media
Chuck, that should be a close one, huh?
Twitter, Instagram,
until the,
yeah.
until the
It's a close one right now, 0-0.
until the kickoff, I suspect.
I think you're probably right.
Big Ten has been taking its lumps this year, with the exception of the Buckeyes. It really doesn't help Ohio State at this point.
No, you're exactly right.
Okay, so third
They're down
and
to
12 from the 13-yard line. And Davis runs to his left on a little bit long. Oh, and he's out. He's over to 20, over to 30, and it's a first down.
Yeah, I'll tell you, nice job there by
Davis.
Davis.
And once Zarin got to the edge, man, he showed a little running ability.
Yeah, he sure did.
And we're going to have Zarin's proud papa, Antonio Davis, up here at halftime. And we'll get Antonio's impressions.
Right.
So 12 seconds to go, and I suspect now that Wesleyan will just forget about any ideas of stopping.
I don't think there'll be another timeout. I think you're right.
Do not think.
Actually, there is going to be one here, and this time it's going to be Urbana. So Urbana now wants to talk about it because, again, with 12 seconds to go, they're about midfield, and they still got 2 timeouts. So,
well, you know, the thing you got to think about is depending on how Wesleyan approaches this, you might be able to get a free runner downfield.
yeah, that's right. And I think they would be perfectly happy to get a field goal out of this.
Yes.
And again, you know, think about where we were 30 seconds ago.
Yep.
Urbana was happy to take a knee and be out of here, and you know, the Bobcats kind of forced the issue, calling timeouts, and you know, Davis is able to put him in a good situation here.
Well,
again, with just over 12 seconds left here in the half.
With Stockett apparently out for the second half, they're going to want to see what Davis can do here, and
Stay tuned at halftime. There'll be a big presentation.
Yeah, you know what? After all that, Bill, I think they're going to take a knee.
They kneel, and that will be the end of it for the first half. So the score at halftime is your Urbana Blue Knights 21 and the West Virginia Wesleyan Bobcats 0. And impressive performance. Again, 21 points has been Urbana's number here for all the games we've been for the first half, Chuck.
Yeah, that's right. We've seen them do that several times now, haven't we? Let's see if that continues.
So we will be dialing up Rick Rykow now, and we will see if we can get Rick on here. Rick played here, I believe, maybe 2003 to 2006, and a little bit before Mike Widmer, who was our guest last week.
Yeah, that's right. We got all kinds of Urbana alumni joining us this year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do.
All right, so while Bill tries to connect here via the magic of cellular telephones.
Hey, Rick. Okay, we're going to get you on. Hang on for a second.
It looks like we got him on the phone here.
Okay, so I've got Rick Rykow on the phone, former lineman for the Blue Knights. And Rick, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Great. It's 21-0 in favor of the Blue Knights. This is the third straight game that when we've come up, they've been ahead 21-0 at halftime. And Rick, you played down here. What were the years that you were here at Urbana?
I started in '99 and graduated in 2003.
Okay. And, you know, what are some of the memories you had of playing here? Of course, they played over at the old high school stadium, I believe, when you were playing for all the years you were there, because I think Mike Widmer played, who was a little bit after you, was the first class that got to play in the new stadium.
Yeah, they built the stadium after I graduated, so we never got to play there. In fact, that was just, we got it pulled up on YouTube, and I've been watching the game with my girls here, and kind of reminiscing about those days.
Yeah. What are some of your best memories? Of course, you know, Urbana's football program, especially when you got here, was not a real old program. It had only had football maybe for about 15 years. So, you know, they were still going through some growing pains. And so how did that, you know, how did that play into your career and some of the memories you had here with the Blue Knights?
In honor of the life and spirit of former Union student Alicia Titus, who lost her life during the tragic terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001. The award was created to recognize individuals from Champaign County who are actively involved in the promotion and support of peace. Through the recognition of its foundational characteristics of compassion, understanding, courage, justice, mercy, generosity, faith, nobility, and hope, the award carries on the tradition of Urbana University and its valiant Blue Knights and helps support a culture of peace.
You know, Rick, one of my fondest memories was what we used to call it the Rykow Bowl, where your brother, who played for St. Francis, And of course, you were at Urbana, and they were both NAIA playing in the same league at the time. And why don't you talk about?
I can barely hear you, Bill.
Okay, we've got a lot of feedback from the loudspeaker here. But what I was saying is, when you were here at Urbana, did you? You know, one of my fondest memories was being able to see you guys, you and your brother Brian, face off, because St. Francis University over in Indiana was in the league with you guys at the time.
And leadership within the community. Serving as the mayor of the city.
Were you able to get that, Rick?
2012.
I can't hear you over that other announcer.
Growing up in
Okay.
Urbana,
Well,
and his
Rick,
devotion to his faith and
we're gonna
understanding,
let me try to call you back in a little bit when they're done with this, and we'll finish this up.
majoring in philosophy and religion
Okay, so I'm gonna turn this over
from
to
Urbana University,
Chuck Hale at this point.
helping to establish a community
And
focused on peace.
Chuck's
Mayor
got
Bean and his family helped to establish
Antonio
the city
Davis,
of
AD, is here with us.
international cities of peace.
All right, so as Bill said, we're joined here by Antonio Davis, and boy, a lot of things to talk about, but I think, Antonio, probably the first thing you want to talk about is that young quarterback we just saw. Tell us a little bit about that young man we just
Hey,
saw.
man, Chuck, hey, I was like, wow, he didn't get that from me. I mean, he looked way faster than me. I'm like, man, I didn't see that. He must have been working out or something. But hey, he thrown right into the fire. He told the O lineman, let's go. I got y'all. And they looked at him, hey, let's go, Z.
That's right. They look good.
So yeah, he looked pretty good. He looked pretty good.
You know, I thought that was a good play call too, AD, because that, your son comes in, he's getting his first snap. Let him run the ball. Get used to it. Get popped a little bit.
Let him get hit. Get some action.
Get the
Go all the way into the fire.
Yes.
Not just
right.
put the toe. No, we gonna throw you all the way into the fire. So that was a good way. That's how they've been using him. They think that his legs are a big plus for him.
Right.
I like his arm. I like the. Well, I got little legs, but I'm kind of a little slower. I do the speed limit. He was over the speed limit right there, so I'm trying to watch those tickets. But he feels the need for speed. So
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If him and Trotman get in there together, that's going to be a dangerous combination.
man, hey, I'm just real excited because from seeing him from spring ball this year to camp last year. The big strides that he's made, I knew that he would be able to help him eventually, and I didn't think it was going to be this fast.
Right.
In real game time, I thought it would always be garbage time, but that's my thing to him. Always stay ready. Got to always stay ready.
And he showed he was, for sure.
Yes, sir.
And I would say at this point, looking at Eddie Stockett on the sideline, we're not going to see Eddie again tonight.
Not tonight.
So your son's going the rest of the way.
Yeah, he's going to have to go the rest of the way. So hopefully we can put up 21 more points, match the first half output, and hopefully Eddie is all right. I saw him, wrap his hand up and all that. Hate injuries. I love seeing my son in the game, but I hate that it had to be.
Yeah, you hate to see it that way.
I don't. That doesn't feel right. But
Right.
I've still got to cheer for my son. But I hate that I really do hate that for Eddie.
Right.
Because he's been leading the squad. I've been behind him the whole way, and so really hate to see that. Wish him well and all that. Man, hey, I know all about recoveries. I still got this thing on my foot.
So how's that going with your snapped Achilles there?
Oh man, it's going cool. I'm ready to get back to work. I've been off of work. Just been looking at old football film, trying to get some new plays. I looked at the '87 Cotton Bowl the other day, so I don't have anything to do. So I'm just looking at stuff, trying to pick stuff up for
Deep
the
in the
next
library,
season.
huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, we talked a little bit last time. You guys have any kind of schedule together yet as far as, you'll be going down to play in the national playoffs in January. And when would you guys get back together and start practicing again?
Well, we're looking at playing in a a playoff series that they're trying to put together, and it's a game the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So if we can get everybody to commit to, you know, staying home and not traveling or whatever and being at the game, then we'll play host a playoff game, and try to do that just to stay, you know, just to stay afloat and stay sharp. But we'll have a couple of indoor practices in October, so we can start getting a look of new guys, anybody that wants to join the team and things like that. We'll start trying guys out. So we'll stay active. We'll do something every weekend in October.
Okay.
Gave the guys a little time off.
Sure.
And for me, I got to turn into Coach AD, because I'll be calling the plays instead of calling them from the sideline. Instead of calling them from on the field, I'll be calling them from the sideline. So it'll just take me back to my high school coaching days before my son start playing. So I'll get back into that, and that'll still be fun.
AD, wanted to ask you, of course, this weekend we're going to be doing Central State at Kentucky State, and you are a Central State alum.
Yes, sir. It's at Kentucky State?
Yeah, it's at Kentucky State.
It's down at Kentucky State.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And
cool.
You and Chuck Hale will be getting together to get it on for that broadcast, and
yes, sir.
Joining Campus Nation for that one.
Definitely. And hey, that'll be a ball, being down there at Kentucky State. I played at Central State. We won a national championship back when I was there in 1995, 96.
Now, were you there when Hugh Douglas was there?
I was there. That was my first year there when Hugh Douglas was there.
Okay.
So I was there when he got drafted. I was there for all the hoopla, the pro days, and all the NFL teams coming around.
Right.
And then we actually lost our first playoff game that year against Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Okay.
And then the next year I was the starter, and we won everything. We had one loss. We lost to Eastern Illinois. And I blame that on my mom. She's here right now. I blame that on my mom. She made every game. I mean, my mom would drive everywhere to the games. Oh, babe, y'all gonna win tonight. I'm gonna go out with the girls, and we lose 32 to 27 or something like that. And I told the papers that at the national championship game, they said, "How confident are you?" I said, "Hey, my mom she just pulled in. I'm real confident. She made every game except for that one game. When we lost, she's been to every other game. She's here right now, so I know we'll win." And we won like 42 to 16 or something like that. And you know, it was real good times there at Central State. So we haven't been that lucky against Kentucky State here in the last couple of years. So you know, we're looking to get off the snide here, because they've been handing it to us the last couple of years, and that I haven't really liked that. But Kentucky State's been playing some good balls. The tides have turned. Central State used to play Kentucky State the last game of the year. It was a tune-up for the playoffs. That's how we viewed it. But now the tables have turned, and Kentucky State has actually been handing it to us. So I mean, have to take your hats off to the thoroughbreds for changing those tides. But we'll see what the Marauders have for them tomorrow down in what is there? Frankfurt.
Yes,
yeah, we'll see what they have for them down in Frankfurt.
Okay. Well, AD, thanks for being up tonight, and of course you and the Hammer, Chuck Hale, are going to be down there.
Yes, sir.
I will not be able to join you since I have some other commitments this weekend.
Yes, sir.
But I wish you guys the best of luck. And AD,
yes,
it's
sir.
always a pleasure to have you in. And,
always, Razor.
And we'll be watching your son here as he guides the Blue Knights.
Well, y'all, if y'all hear some loud male screaming,
yes,
that's Antonio Davis down there yelling, telling the son, cheering the son on. So
very good.
I got about 8 minutes here to go ahead and try to settle on down, but I'm about to get revved back up as soon as he gets up out here.
Okay, AD, thanks a lot.
All right, thanks, guys.
So we will attempt to get Rick Rykow back on for a few minutes, since the loudspeaker kind of took Ricky out of the game there. So let's see if we can get Rick again. And hopefully. Hey, Rick. We're going to give it a try now, okay? So, Rick, I was asking you, about the rivalry with your brother and St.
That's what I was getting to, fondest memory, going head to head with my brother for 3 years in a row, with me being on O-line and him being on D-line over at St. Francis in Fort Wayne. So, that was, kind of our rivalry week, per se, and, getting prepped and getting ready for that, so.
Yeah, and, I was down here to Urbana when you guys lost a heartbreaker to them when they were, I believe they might have been ranked as high as 4th at that point in the nation, and for all practical purposes, it looked like the Blue Knights were going to pull off the major upset there.
Like it was yesterday, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I remember I had a bad snap on my part, and we had a couple drop balls, and just a couple miscues that we had, and we got that game.
Well, I'll tell you, Rick, for the most part, and I know moral victories aren't anything, but being an observer of that game, you guys outplayed St. Francis for the majority of that game and should have came away with a victory, but still a great memory. And, of course, it was always fun to watch your mom and dad show up at the game because they would take a Urbana jersey and they would take a St. Francis jersey and cut them in half, and they would wear those at the game. And then didn't they sit one half on the Urbana side and the other half on the St. Francis side?
Yep, split them up.
They split them up even. Yeah, that was a lot of fun when you guys were playing down here. And Rick, we hope that you're able to come down here and later in the year, and we can get you up in the press box and get a little bit better conversation going. But I appreciate you coming on tonight, and go Blue Knights. And it looks like they're in good position to go to 3-1 here.
Yeah, absolutely. Go Blue Knights. I appreciate it, and we'll get down there.
And Rick, I forgot, but why don't you put a plug in for your business here? So we'll get a little free advertising for you. And what are you doing nowadays?
Nowadays I am in a nice size insurance practice up in Rossford, Ohio. It's called Martin & Lark Insurance Agency. And the agency's been around for 80 years, and I'm fortunate to continue that vision and passion that the first owner had of the agency. So, it's we've got great people and a lot of tenure and a lot of knowledge in our agency, and I've been over there for going on 4 years now, and glad to continue to carry that torch and continue to grow the business.
Ricky, if somebody wants to get a hold of you and talk to you about some insurance, where could they reach you at?
Yeah, they can reach me via my website is Martin Lark, MartinLark.com, or they can call my office is 419-691-1512. Or they can reach me via email, real simple, rick@martinlark.com.
Very good. Well, Rick, thanks for joining us on the Urbana broadcast tonight, and we'll talk here in the near future.
All right, sounds great, and keep it up.
Yep. And that was Rick Rykow, former Blue Knight offensive lineman. So let's recap the first half here. Looking at the stats, we've got for Wesleyan, they have 0 yards rushing, 92 yards passing for a total offense of 92 yards on 26 plays. For the Blue Knights, they've got 95 yards rushing, 128 passing for 223 yards on 37 plays. Individually, Luke Casey led the way for the Bobcats with 2 carries for 8 yards. Dante Satcher has 3 carries for -2 yards, and those were the leading rushers for the Bobcats. For Urbana, Isaiah Young, 14 carries for 38 yards and 2 touchdowns. Zarin Davis, 3 carries for 31 yards, averages 10.3 yards per carry. Eddie Stockett, 1 for 12 yards, and David Hickey, 2 for 9 yards. Luke Casey's 12 of 15 passing for 92 yards. He was sacked 1 time. Eddie Sackett, 8 of 12 for 128, a long of 32 yards. He's not been sacked tonight. 4 receivers for the Bobcats. Jawan Lindsay, 4 catches for 35 yards. Derek Drapin, 2 for 13. Jalen Jones, 1 for 13. And Jonah Wellman, 1 for 9. On the Urbana side, Chad Swanson leads the way for the Blue Knights. 3 catches for 50 yards. Jesse Bray, 3 for 49. Justin Dennis, 1 for 20. And Shamar Hooks, 1 for 9. Punting-wise, Jacob Stafford for the Bobcats has 3 punts for a 41.7 yard average. Brandon Perk, 2 punts, and his average is 27.5 yards. Kickoff returns, Jawan Lindsay for the Bobcats, 1 for 0 yards. David Hickey has 1 for the Blue Knights with 12 yards. On the defensive side of the ball, for the Bobcats, Anthony Hill has 5 tackles, Cole Skaggs has 4, Trey Lee with 4, and Brady Walker with 3. For Urbana, Tobias Haley has 5 tackles, Michael Tolliver has 4, L.A. Kelly has 3, and DeArmond Lewis with 3. I'm going to turn it over to Chuck Hale now, and he can recap the scoring. And Chuck, there is the scoring for the first half.
Thanks, Rick. Again, scoring all Urbana in the first half. With 9:37 to go in the first quarter, David Hickey punched it in, and then Ware was able to get the kick through for 7-0. Then that was followed a few minutes later by Isaiah Young's 10-yard run around the right end into the corner of the end zone. Again, Ware's kick is up and good. Scores 14-0. And then Urbana capped the scoring in the second quarter. Isaiah Young with another 6-yard run. And again, that pushed it to 21-0. So again, Isaiah Young with 2 touchdowns on the ground there in the first half. And again, the Blue Knights looking to pick up right where they left off. Of course, backup quarterback Zarin Davis will be leading the Blue Knights here in the second half. And just like his proud papa there told us, if we hear someone screaming, we know who it is. And, a lot of excitement here around this young man. And, hopefully he can continue the good things going here for the Blue Knights in the first half.
And Chuck, usually when you bring in your backup quarterback who doesn't get as many reps during the week, it'll be a pared down offense, which will be easier for him to manage. And of course, with a 21-point lead, I don't suspect they're going to, hopefully they're not going to have to dig deep into the playbook for the young man.
Yeah, that's right. Although I will say that they did have halftime to prepare. That when they brought him in right at the, end of the second quarter, they kept it pretty vanilla. They gave him easy reads.
Yes.
And again, kept it pretty simple. But, again, they did have all halftime to work with him. I'm sure they have some packages put in with him. And I think we'll get a heavy dose of that here in the second half.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And Urbana will start the half by kicking off. And that will be number 39, Eric Ware. And so 15 minutes ago here in the third period as we start a new one here in the second half. And there's Ware's kick, and Ware drives it deep down to the goal line.
Yeah, and this time they're going to run it out of the end zone.
It's number 2, Lewis.
Yeah,
and
that
Lewis
is
has got
Lewis.
a nice return. He's
return.
over to 40, over to 50. He may go all the way. He's down to the 25.
Yeah, he's finally forced out, Bill. But again, you're right. Not before he gets down to about the 25-yard line of the Blue Knights. Great return there by Lewis.
They ripped a little hole in the Knights' coverage, and that's all Lewis needed to find the gap, and a nice return for him.
Yeah, makes me wonder why he downed those 2 in the end zone earlier.
Yeah,
do that.
75-yard return there.
Yeah.
Oh, we might have a block in the back. Why not?
Well, I can't say I'd be surprised, Bill, but it's actually holding.
Holding.
So let's see where they actually assess it from, but this is probably going to give them a lot different field position here, and it looks like it is. It's going to put them way back into their own side of the field, and it
was really the break that they were looking for to get a little spark.
Yeah, they're going to go from from the Urbana 25 to inside their own 25. It's going to be 1st and 10 from about the 16 or 17 yard line now for the
So a 75
for these Bobcats.
75-yard return for not.
Yeah, that hurts. So 4 wide receivers now for the Bobcats. Again, your running back is still Brubeck. Casey gets the snap. He gives to Brubeck. Brubeck up the middle. Brubeck able to get a couple, but he's going to be stopped right there. It's going to bring up 2nd and 8 now from the 19.
And I believe, we'll get the number here, that may have been L.A. Kelly, I think it was, that dragged him down.
All right, so really no surprise. Bobcats stick with their no-huddle offense. Really not in a hurry, but definitely to the line of scrimmage now, milling around.
I like the term, Chuck.
Casey eyes the defense.
Michael Tolliver looks like he is in that rush
He is
position.
coming.
And he's coming off the edge, but it's
Give
a run
to
play
Brubeck again. Brubeck this time picks up a little more. He's going to get about 3. He's going to get up to
And the
just about to the 24-yard line. That's going to make it now 3rd, and we'll call it a long. Yeah, we'll call it a regular 4. How about that?
I like that.
Yeah, 3rd and 4 now.
And that
for
was the same
Bobcats.
combination of players as L.A. Kelly was the tackler on that again.
Yeah, really no surprise there at all. So, all right, so the Bobcats now have a bunch formation to the bottom of the screen. Single receiver to the top. Brubeck, the lone running back, he's off to Casey's left.
You usually see a screen or maybe a sweep behind this. Oh, there's all sorts of
have
movement.
a penalty there. A lot of movement there at the beginning.
Yeah. So the Blue Knights are looking at or the Bobcats rather, looking for a 3rd and 9, Chuck. And
yeah, that's right. And again, deep in their own territory here. So let's see what they can pull out of the bag of tricks here. 3 receivers to the top of the formation, 1 receiver to the bottom. Brubeck still the back in with Casey. Offset to his right. Casey gets the snap low. He picks it up. Throws a screen to the left side.
Oh, a tunnel screen.
Complete. Oh, and he breaks
Lindsay
a tackle.
Over to 30.
Oh, Lindsay's going to be up past the 30 for a 1st down. And, boy, you're right, Bill. Nice run there by Lindsay after the catch. Just able to make something happen there. And that's going to be a 1st down up at about the 32 or 33-yard line now.
And that was
the Bobcats.
L.A. Kelly's 3rd tackle on this offensive possession by the
Yeah, and I'll
Bobcats.
tell you, the Blue Knights were lucky he made that tackle.
Yeah, they are.
3 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. There's the snap. The fake to Brubeck. Now throws again. Number 82, and he's brought down hard there almost immediately after the catch again.
And that was Chris Richardson, I believe, but L.A. Kelly came in and added a little insult to that as Richardson was holding him up, and Kelly came in for the finish.
Yeah, that's right. And again, Juwan Lindsay doesn't want to take too many hits like that, I'm sure.
No, the body can only take so much of that.
That's right. So again, tight bunch formation to the top of the screen. Single receiver to the bottom. Brubeck offset to the right. Casey
And
gets
here comes the
snap.
pressure. Oh!
Steps up and, dumps it off.
Oh! And I think that's
Well, I'll tell you, that is Dudney. And I'll tell you, Dudney was thinking about the run before he made the catch. And
you know, Chuck, the one thing I'm kind of surprised by, and we haven't had a chance to see West Virginia Wesleyan, but I think I lost my sound there. But, yeah, okay, I guess.
I hear you.
Okay, we're back. Is that they're not throwing really downfield that much.
No, you're right. They really haven't tried to stretch the field at all in Urbana. And, it's like we talked about last week. Urbana's planning on playing the same kind of defense. They're playing 2 safeties rolled up pretty tight.
Right, and you would think the center, and there's a little pressure all over the place. He drops it off to Lindsay.
Yeah, Casey throws to Lindsay. Lindsay makes the catch. It's going to be good for another 1st down. So now 1st and 10 from about the 44-yard line.
And Devontae McKee corrals Lindsay and wrestles him to the ground for the Blue Knights.
Yeah, and you're right, Bill. I'm really surprised they haven't at least tried to, attack a little bit of this defense here.
Especially with a cover 2, which is, usually the center is the weak point of that defense.
Yeah, they haven't thrown anything to try to beat it at all, have they?
No. Usually flats and screens is all we've seen right now.
Yeah. All right, so again, 3 receivers to the top of the formation. Number 19, Dudney, alone to the bottom. There's the snap.
Pressure.
Looks to the left, and he throws a short inside slant, and it's complete.
Looks like Lindsey
It
again.
is Lindsey again, so that's 3 catches in a row for young Juwan Lindsey.
Tobias Haley on the stop. You don't want to run that slant in front of Mr. Haley too often.
That's
because
right. That's right. So 2nd and short now for the Bobcats.
you may find parts of your body missing.
That's right. 3 receivers now to the bottom of the formation, 1 to the top. Back offset to the left is Brubeck.
Boston Sanders
Fake
comes
to
on the
Brubeck
blitz.
again. Throws the slant to the left, and it's complete. And again, that's number 2. That's Kenny Lewis Jr.
Kenny Lewis with a nice stretch and catch on that one.
Yeah, Lewis has shown some decent ball skills tonight. So 1st down now at the 39 of the Blue Knights, and the Bobcats just keep ticking away on this drive.
And this is apparently what their offense is, Chuck, since we really didn't have any preview on them other than the results of some games.
Yeah, a lot of dinking and dunking going on out there. So 3 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. Brubeck offset to the right of Casey. Casey with a snap, drops back, looks to his left, throws. Now this time down the sideline.
And I think it's complete.
And it is. It's complete. That's Kenny Lewis out there along the left sideline.
Down to about the 15.
Kenny Lewis Jr. with a big catch there for the Bobcats.
Actually, the 18, Chuck, is where they're going to mark
Okay,
it.
so 1st and 10 from the 18 of the Blue Knights.
And just like that, now we just talked about not throwing deep, and we see our first real shot towards the end zone.
Yeah, somebody might be listening, Bill. All right, so 3 receivers at the bottom, 1 to the top again. Brubeck to the left of Casey. There's the snap. Casey looks to his right, throws deep for the end zone.
Oh, he's got him too.
Oh, and it falls incomplete, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, I agree with that
It came
call.
out, and I'll tell you. Number 9, Derek Drainen, trying to sell the official, but the official saw it the same way we did.
Yep.
Ball just came through Drainen's hands and
Came through
hits
the drain.
turf. That's right. Through the drain. And
to the ground. So.
all right, so 2nd and 10 now, again from the 18-yard line. Again, Bobcats really in the best position they've been in all game to score. There's the snap.
Oh, the pressure.
Oh, and I'll tell you, he had it set up to the left flat for Brubeck. But
And you know who.
yeah, nice job there by Urbana. And yes, we know who.
Michael Tolliver.
Tolliver with a big play there in the flat to break that up before it could get started.
If Tolliver doesn't get his hands on that,
I think Brubeck had something going there. You're right,
he
Bill.
may have scored on that.
Yeah. All right, so that now makes it 3rd and 10 from the 18. Again, this Bobcat offense, they're really wanting to get on the board here.
Yes, indeed.
5 minutes gone here in the third quarter. Brubeck to the left.
Here
Here's
comes the
snap.
pressure again.
Down the left sideline.
Oh!
I'll tell you, the receiver fell down there after Casey let it go.
And I think that's number 3, Devontae McKee, on the coverage. And he was on a pretty tight, Chuck. He had
yeah, I think you're right. There wasn't any interference there. Lewis just fell down. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you, best shot at a touchdown all night. So
Yeah.
now 4th and 10 from the 18-yard line. And let's see what the Bobcats decide to do. They're going to leave the offense on the field.
And why not, Chuck?
Well, down 3 touchdowns here in the second half.
Can't
You're right,
hold
Bill.
anything back now.
That's right, Dan. So again, 3 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top here on this 4th and 10. Brubeck to the right, snap back. Casey looks to his left.
Oh.
Now has to scramble that direction. Still looking,
It's not,
still looking.
oh, and I would bet that's probably, yes, it is.
Yep. Guess who?
Michael Tolliver catches him from behind. He
Again, so the drive stalls out there right about the 15-yard line. That's where the Blue Knights will take over. 1st and 10 Urbana.
You know, you got to get that feeling of dread, Chuck, when you know that Michael Tolliver's right around you. And if you count 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, you haven't got hit, you know the boom is coming.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I was an opposing quarterback, I'd be afraid of him being anywhere on the field.
I think I would have just taken off and run and try to get what I could get on that.
Yeah, that's right. To Casey's credit, you know, he hung on and tried to look to make a play, but you're right. Tolliver's not going to give anybody that much time.
Tolliver's having another big league game tonight, as he's been just all over the quarterback and tackles for losses. I mean, he's just everywhere on the field.
Oh, he's a ball player, absolutely, Bill. No doubt about it.
So Urbana with Zarin Davis at quarterback now after Eddie Stockett left the
That's right.
game and late in the second quarter.
That's
with
right. The ZD show now.
We don't know what the actual diagnosis is on Stockett. He does have it splinted and wrapped, so probably precautionary until he can get an X-ray on it and see
Right.
what the deal is.
Yeah, but again, like I said, the ZD show is starting here. Exciting to see this young man in action.
Of course, and of course, Zarin, son of Antonio Davis, AD, who quarterbacked the Cincinnati Chiefs in the Premier Amateur Football
right.
League to the Super Bowl title in that league.
Yeah, Bill, you don't want to sell him short. The guy's also a national champion.
Well, that's true for Central State.
That's right. So,
And Isaiah Young breaks out over the 20-yard line.
well, I'll tell you, that's Young's longest run of the game, I think, Bill.
Yeah, and 9
one
yards.
of his hardest.
A hard 9-yard pickup, which makes it 2nd and 1, and you like to be in those situations,
Yeah,
Chuck.
nice leg drive there by Isaiah for
Yep.
sure. I take it back. That was the second longest, I believe. His longest was that 10-yard touchdown run.
Yes, you're right.
But again, but that 10-yard run wasn't that hard.
No, that was just a cut and score.
That's right. This time Young was up the middle, leg drive the whole time.
Snyder on the shuffle motion, and they give it to Young again. Young off to the left side, and he's up over to 30.
Yeah, a little power play. They pull one of the guards
That's a
there,
first
I believe.
down.
And, yeah, I'll tell you, number 13 for the Bobcats really stuck his nose in there, Derek Butler. But again, way too late. Already a first down.
So David Hickey enters the game as the running back, and they're going to give Isaiah Young a little bit of a blow so that he can refresh and get ready to come back in. Two receivers to the right, one to the left, H-back to the left in front of Hickey, and Hickey jams it forward for a nice 7-yard gain there.
I'll tell you, Urbana's really trying to set the tone, Bill, in this second half. Coming out, running the ball, running some power plays up the middle. You know, again, we saw in the first half they tried to get their run game going by stretching it sideline to sideline.
And they're just trying to help young Zarin Davis get through this. And
yeah, that's right, but I'll tell you, it's working.
yeah, they're doing a nice job with it. Davis looks very calm and collect. And so we've got a 2nd and 5. Nice down to dial up any kind of play here. Hickey moves to the right of Davis, and we're going to run a little option, and Davis keeps it, picks up a yard probably, and it's going to be 3rd and 4.
I'll tell you, you know, he only picked up a yard, but good decision there by Zarin Davis.
Well, the thing with a quarterback and an option like that, the key is to get your shoulders north and south as soon as possible.
That's right, and he did.
And he did a nice job doing that.
All right, so 3rd and 4 now for the Blue Knights.
So we will see what they come up with. See if they can keep this drive rolling. 3 receivers to the left, Hickey to the left, and Davis keeps it. He's up over to 40, and now I think we're going to get a hold on that, Chuck.
Yeah, that's true, and that's too bad because Zarin had a first down there.
He did have a first down. So this one's going to have to come back because they're not going to give them the results of the play. So it'll be 3rd and about 15 probably, depending on where the
Holding, offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty from the spot of foul. 3rd down.
might actually be a 3rd and 11. So I mean, you'd like better situations, but that's not horrible, Chuck. I mean,
third and Bell Fountain is certainly manageable here.
So 3 receivers to the left, Hickey in the pistol rather. Hooks motions from the left to the right.
Hey, you know, speaking of that, we haven't heard a lot of action more Hooks tonight.
We have not. And there's a little false start, and they got that, Chuck.
I don't see how they missed
Oh,
it.
man, it's – oh!
You know what? And I think because he started early, he just assumed the play had stopped, and he wasn't really running there.
You know, you see a lot of that.
I can figure.
You see a lot of that vertical motion in the Arena League, but they usually
in Canada.
Or in Canada, but they kind of frown on it here in the States.
It's been my understanding, but again, no call there. So
I'm trying to get this kid's number here. 14 was the intended receiver there from Urbana.
All right, Juwan Lindsay back deep to receive.
Oh, that's JT Dozier.
That is JT Dozier. Again, like we talked about, one of those unsung heroes for this Blue Knights team.
Yeah.
And there you go, Bill. You couldn't sing his name.
I could not.
Oh,
All right, so
Perk with a nice kick.
Lindsey just has to get away from it. It's going to go out of bounds at about see where they finally mark it. He walks up past the 35, about the 37-yard line. That's where the Bobcats will take over, 1st and 10. 6:35 to go here in the third quarter, folks, and your score, Urbana Blue Knights 21, West Virginia Wesleyan Bobcats 0.
And the best thing about that, when you kick it like that, is you know that Lindsey doesn't get a free run at a return on that.
That's right. Doesn't even get to touch it.
Nope. 6:35 to go, third period.
All right, 2 receivers to the bottom of the formation, 2 up to the top. Brubeck still the back, lined up to Casey's left. Casey eyes the defense now. Barks out the signals. Calls for the football. There's the snap, looks to the left, fires quickly into the left flat. Complete. It's going to be good for a gain of about 7 yards.
Yep.
Maybe 6. That's where they'll be stopped. It's going to bring up 2nd and 4 now for the Bobcats. And on the reception there, that was 17, Elijah Nelson. So this time they come out with, again, 2 receivers to each side. Brubeck still lined up in the backfield to Casey's right.
DeRay Hall on the tackle on that.
Okay, and we know DeRay steps up big against these Bobcats.
Yes,
in the
he
pass.
does. Ooh.
Fake to Brubeck, throw is complete, and it's number 81.
A nice little pass in the middle.
I'll tell you, 81, that's a nice little speedster. That's Trey Gully. Gully, only 5'8", 154, but was showing he can make some moves out there. And he gets it all the way down to about the 37-yard line, and that's where the Bobcats will be now. 2 receivers to each side of the formation. The give is to Brubeck this time. Brubeck straight up the middle. Good for about maybe a yard. Make it now 2nd and 9 for the Bobcats. And in fact, looks like they're not even going to give him that, Bill. It's going to be 2nd and 10 now.
The tackle was made by number 48, Jamari Collins.
And so again, two possessions in a row, the Bobcats have been able to cross midfield. Let's see if this time they're able to punch it in or at least get some points on the board. Okay, full backfield this time. Running backs on each side of Casey this time. And looks like we've got
a little motion there.
Montgomery back in the game.
Oh! Nice throw by Casey, but...
Yeah, it was. I'll tell you, pass intended for...
Number 7.
Yeah, number 7. That's Jalen Jones, but Jalen not able to hang on, so it's going to make it 3rd and 10 now for the Bobcats. And, again, not quite in field goal range here. They need to pick up some yards. They want to get on the scoreboard here.
As they say, he couldn't find the handle on that.
Yeah, he sure couldn't. Darn thing's got points on the ends.
Yeah.
All right, so 3 receivers to the bottom of the field, 1 to the top. Brubeck offset to Casey's left.
3-man rush.
Casey with the snap, drops
they
back.
Bring a little pressure.
Fires down the right side.
Oh, nice catch by 86 for the Bobcats.
I'll tell you, that's complete for a touchdown, 86. Let's get that young man's name. That is Christian Nelson, sophomore receiver. And again, with a nice grab and a nice run after the catch for a touchdown. So with 4:52 to go here in the third quarter, West Virginia Wesleyan finally gets on the board, 21-6, but the PAT coming up.
And I do not have a number 22 on the roster that plays defense, so I can't tell you who the Urbana defender was on that.
That's a good question.
Because it has that listed as Raphael Floyd, who's a wide receiver, unless Raphael does play defense too, which...
All right, kick is up and possible. It's good, so... Again, 4:52 to go here in the third. Your score now, Urbana 21, West Virginia Wesleyan 7.
Kind of a familiar scenario that we've seen in the past here, Chuck.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you'd ever had deja vu because
all over again.
Yeah, I think didn't you just ask me that? I think we've experienced this before. So
yes, we did.
Again, Urbana has to be very careful not to fall into that trap, though, Bill. Because like we talked about, this West Virginia Wesleyan offense, if they can get rolling, we know they can put points on the board.
And I would say this is the best offensive team of all of them. Well, we didn't see Fairmont in fairness.
I think in fairness, I think Fairmont State probably is.
But of the teams we've seen, this is the best offensive machine that we've seen.
Well, statistically.
At least with the most potential to do damage.
Right.
And you can't let them get back into this because if you get in a shootout and you don't have Stockett in there now, you're going to have to get Zarin Davis into the passing game.
That's exactly right. We haven't really seen them show a lot of confidence in letting Zarin throw the ball. So you're exactly right, Bill, that, again, they really want to protect this lead. They're going to have to, get after it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a heavy dose of running here out of Isaiah Young,
Right.
as well as by either Maurice Warren Jr. or David Hickey. So, again, the Blue Knights want to keep the ball away.
And the thing, they can do things with Zern as far as little quick slip screens to the backs. They can get some quick outs, some hitches, just to get them a little rhythm, and so that they just can't box you in.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's a different skill set than Stockett has.
Yeah,
But,
definitely.
something that, the game plan wasn't built around either. So,
Yeah, that's true. Back deep is wide receiver Jeff Garcia, number 85. Garcia is a 160-pound freshman from Lakota East. And David Hickey is back deep.
all right.
And then we got Rick Phillips here.
Yeah, we do.
Rick has been quietly switching, doing a yeoman's job on the engineering tonight.
That's right. Kick is up and away.
Ball goes deep.
Hickey fair catch is inside the 10, so that'll come out to the 25 with a new fair catch rule.
Yeah. Still don't like that, Chuck, but
Well, I'm not surprised you don't, Bill. Not surprised you don't.
I think if there's a new league someday, they will not have that rule.
Oh, there aren't any new leagues coming, Bill, that I'm aware of.
I think there might be.
Really?
Rick, is there any new leagues that you know about? Is there any new leagues you've heard about?
Something on the horizon?
Not yet. Okay.
Oh, well, there you go. So,
That's straight from the horse's mouth.
horses what?
Well, that was Rick's mouth, not a horse's mouth.
Yeah, okay, well. Nay. he says.
Nay, yeah.
All right, so 1st and 10 now for the Blue Knights, again led by redshirt freshman quarterback Zarin Davis.
And then they move Isaiah Young to the right, 2 receivers to the right. Wood, the fullback, right in front of Young, and Young is over to 25, cuts back over to 30, 35, 40, out over the 40-yard line to about the 42.
Yeah, and I think, again, Bill, like I mentioned, this Urbana offense is starting to assert their dominance up front a little bit.
Nice 17-yard run there for Isaiah Young. And like you said, Chuck, if they're able to keep this and sustain it where they can just hand the ball off, that's going to be a dagger in the heart of the Bobcats.
Yeah, that's right. You mentioned, too, just about running out of possessions, and, the clock just keeps melting away.
Yep. And then Young again off to the left. He's over to 40, out to the 40. Oh, I think they're going to get him for a face mask on that, maybe. 45-yard line is where Young stops, but I thought I saw a flag underneath the pile there.
Yep, I think you're right, Bill. And, again, though, I do want to say this West Virginia Wesleyan Bobcat defense, they've been on the field a lot, but they are running to the football, and, there's always several hats to the ball in every tackle. Good effort. Good effort.
Face mask. Defense.
So it is going to be a face mask against the defense, and it's going to be called on number 31. That's Ephraim Moore. So, again, Moore picks up the face mask penalty, and that's going to give Urbana a first down now inside Bobcat territory at the 40-yard line.
And again, a relatively clean game for both teams. But we've got Hickey off to the right of Davis. Davis,
bad snap.
Mishandles it. And
Yeah, a little high, but I think you're right. That was more that I think Z might have taken his eye off it there.
Yeah, and the ball goes back to the 50.
So 10-yard loss, that's going to hurt here.
And, I would almost say, Chuck, and of course we have no way of knowing, I wondered if that was supposed to be a pass play on that.
Yeah, and he was looking at I think you're right. He was making a read there. And,
right.
Hard to catch the ball and make a read at the same time. And
that's just one of those things that comes with years.
Well, and that's the thing. Zarin probably is not getting the majority of reps every day
right.
in practice. So, things are going to be a little rusty.
2nd and 19 for the Blue Knights from the 50-yard line. Hickey moves to the right of Davis. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Play action fake to Hickey. Davis steps up and gets it out there. And we'll see.
Yeah, I tell you, Davis floated that one a little bit. I think if he'd have put a little more on that, might have given the receiver a little better chance of the football. But
and I think that was intended for Burt, number 13.
Yeah, I think you're right. That is Craig Burt, the big receiver, big 6'4" receiver out of Columbus.
And they're bringing in Justin Denny, who had a pretty nice first half himself.
Yes, he did.
So some of the young kids coming in here, the future of the Blue Knights. So we've got 2 receivers to each side. Davis would hickey off to his left. He drops, he looks, lots of pressure, and he's taken down at about the 38-yard line.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that looked like it was big number 39 for the Bobcats, and that is Joshua Adewemi coming from his defensive back spot. And again, that's going to lead to a 4th and a long way for the Blue Knights. And
Coach Jim Cordell was going crazy there. As a former lineman, I'm sure he is less than happy when he sees that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think that stings a little more. You're right, when you're a lineman and you watch your line give up a sack like that. So, again, big punt here for Urbana.
Brandon Perk back to kick. And there's the kick. He gets a high floating kick, and it takes a Bobcat bounce all the way back up to the 35-yard line.
Bill, I know you're not going to believe this on a special teams play, but
let me guess.
A flag.
Is a flag?
There's a flag down.
Wow, that's so rare. You don't ever see that.
Yeah, usually only one per punt.
Yeah. Give it a couple years, and we'll get that up to 2 or 3 per punt.
There you go. So we'll wait now and see what the initial indication is. So you're on the flag.
And there's a chance it was holding on the return team, which is common.
I don't think from where it was thrown that's what it is.
No.
But we'll see.
We've got a gaggle of zebras out there talking it over, and
I believe that's a herd.
Yeah, a herd. I like that.
Oh, personal foul.
Receiving team number 5. 15-yard penalty, first down.
All right, so the personal foul is going to be on number 5 for the Bobcats, and that's Trey Lee. Trey Lee, a 5'10 redshirt junior from Waldorf, Maryland. So
that would have been an after the catch.
That's right. It was a dead ball foul, actually.
Dead ball foul.
Yep.
Okay, so
that's going to bring it back to the 20. So now it's 1st and 10 for the Bobcats. 3 wide receivers to the bottom of the formation, 1 to the top. Brubeck again in the back, offset to the right of Casey. Casey gets the snap, fakes to Brubeck again, throws into
number 9.
Yeah, throws to number 9. That is Drainin, and Drainin with a catch. We've got another flag, Bill. So, and that we talked about how clean this was. It's starting to
degenerate,
starting to devolve a little bit here. So,
and that was Chris Richardson on the tackle.
Number 46.
All right, so a face mask on the tackle, and that's going to tack 15 on it, and that's going to give the first down to the Bobcats, but it's going to give them a lot of yards here as it pushes it up past their 40. It's now going to be 1st and 10 from their own 41-yard line.
Sure, L.A. Kelly would like that one back.
I'm sure he would. So 3 receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom. Again, Brubeck to back. Lined up to the right.
Casey's done a nice job getting the ball out quickly here in the last couple drives.
Oh, throw the middle, and again, that is Lindsey. And Lindsey with another first down grab.
And another tackle by Chris Richardson, number 18 for the Knights.
Yeah, that's right. I'll tell you, when they need a play, they just dial up Jawan Lindsey, and more times than not, he seemed to deliver.
Lindsey's an explosive player.
Yes, he is. So, again, Lindsey now lines up to the bottom of the formation. Now we've got a tight formation at the top, wide receivers, but they're very tight to the end of the line.
Here comes the pressure.
The snap, and the give is to Brubeck.
Oh, right past Tolliver.
Yeah, Brubeck with a nice little cut there to get past Tolliver. Gets it up for a gain of about 4. Going to make it now 2nd, and we'll call it a long 6 now for the Bobcats.
Jamari Collins with the tackle, and really on that, the tackle did a great job. He just turned Tolliver out, and they ran inside of him. And
yeah, that's right. All he needed was a position block there, and he got it.
Yep.
All right, so 1 receiver to the bottom, 3 to the top now. Again, Brubeck's to the back, lined up to Casey's left this time. Casey with a snap.
Here comes the rush. Oh, this time.
Fakes to Brubeck again and throws.
Number 9.
Again, complete to Drainin for another first down. So, again, the Bobcats seem to have woken up here in the 3rd quarter, Bill.
And Tobias Haley on the tackle.
Yeah, but not before Drainin has able to get another first down here. So just inside a minute to go here in the third quarter, and now we're going to have a stoppage on the play. We've got, I believe that's draining down again, and since we saw him go down, every time we've seen him now, he's been a little.
He's not been healthy.
Gimpy there, yeah. And again, we think it might just be cramps given the heat. He has come back in the game every time, but this is the second time they've had to stop playing, come out and check him out.
And draining, all the receivers have come to life here, Chuck, and the Blue Knights are looking at one of those games that we've seen the last few weeks where the other team crawls back into the game.
Yeah, that's right. And again, like we talked about, though, Urbana's got to be careful with stock it out. They may not be equipped to be in a shootout right now.
Right.
Again, they've shown that they don't have a lot of confidence in Zane Jones throwing the football. So,
and it makes your offense.
Did I just hear that 7-0 Jets, Bill? Hate to throw that in your face.
Well, that's all right. It's early in the game. So we will see what happens there. Right. I would say this: if Hugh Jackson loses that game tonight, I would say that will be Hugh's last game with the Browns. So, and I think that is kind of common theme that I heard in Cleveland this week. So you play the Steelers, you play the Saints, but if you lose to the Jets, okay, and and it's completed. And I think it's number 9 again.
Yeah, it is. I'll tell you. No, is it?
It's two. Kenny Lewis.
Yeah, that is Kenny Lewis Jr. So another first down, moving the sticks, and that's going to get it down to about the 10. Yeah, it must be inside the 10, Bill, because it's now first and goal. And again, as time set to expire here,
and I think the
seconds
clock
ticking away here in the third quarter.
Going to run out.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to. They're trying to get a playoff. It looks like, and they do.
And
so the give is to Brubeck around the left side. Brubeck able to squirt forward for a gain of, we'll call it about
5 yards, maybe.
Yeah, at least 5 yards, I would say. So that's the end of the third quarter, folks. And again, your score: Urbana Blue Knights 21, West Virginia Wesleyan Bobcats 7.
Yep. So we will we'll pick this up here, but this has been typical of the Blue Knights, where they've jumped out to 21-point leads, and with the game against West Liberty ends up 21-19.
Yeah.
Because of some special team situations and some decisions on extra points. And then, of course, last week it was 21-0. Urbana was able to put 2 field goals onto that in the second half, but pulled that one out 27-19.
Right.
And the difference is you had Eddie Stockett coming back on the field who can stretch the field for you. And that can be a problem tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Again, Zarin Davis is going to get a baptism by fire, whether he's ready or not.
Yeah, I was going to show you something, but I thought that was a home game there. Because that'll be a big game, because they are undefeated, and if they win this, they'll be 3-1 and 4-0. And we were talking about next week. Urbana travels to Charleston.
Yeah.
And depending on what happens tonight, if Charleston wins,
that could be a huge game. All right, so second and goal now for the Bobcats as they switch ends. The give is to Brubeck. Brubeck cuts it back to the middle.
Nice tackle.
Yeah, he's going to be brought down there, I think, actually.
And that was Boz.
No gain or a loss.
And that was the Boz. Boston Sanders just stepped in.
Boz. So third and goal now from the 4.
And you got to believe at this point, with being 0-3, West Virginia Wesleyan is 4 downs on this. There is no field goal option.
Oh, no. I don't know, Bill. I mean, it's 21-7, so they're in this ball game. Again, I don't know if you want to miss any scoring opportunity for the Bobcats right now. So there's the snap. Throw for the left side.
Oh, nearly picked off.
Yeah, it really was. I'll tell you, he was looking for Lewis, but really nice coverage there by Urbana. He really was never open. Probably a ball that should never have been thrown.
And that was Devontae McKee, and that was supposed to be a back shoulder fade, which came up way short on that one.
Yeah, it was way short again. And given the coverage, again, like I said, should never have been put in that place. So they are going to attempt a field goal here. So
Chuck, you're
Tyler
right.
Fisher is going to come onto the field. And like I said, Bill, I think they're doing this because they feel they're in this game.
Right. And they have reason to believe that, since
that's right. Yeah.
There's not been much
Snap, and I'll tell you, Fisher just bangs it through. That's good. So 14:28 to go in the fourth quarter. And, folks, your score is now Urbana Blue Knights 21. West Virginia Bobcats clawing back in it with 10.
Yep. So, we look at this, Chuck, and I think Urbana is going to have to. Now, if I have Zarn Davis, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll him out a little bit.
I think you're right. You want to get him in space. Let the athlete be an athlete, because we've seen what he can do with his feet.
And, that type of young quarterback, you get him on the edge. If things look cloudy, he's got the green light to run, and it doesn't make it as tough on him instead of dropping back and trying to read your progression. So I think that's what I see them doing now.
I think you're right. I think Coach Corder will break it down, give him a maximum 1 to 2 reads.
Yep.
Read it and go. Read it and go. If it's not there, run it. If it's there, throw it. If it's not there, run it.
Break it down into halves like, Bill Walsh always did for the 49ers. They read half the field, and it makes it that much easier, especially for a young quarterback with that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, because everybody knows Joe Montana couldn't read the whole field.
Well, I think Joe evolved, and, of course, Steve Young. I think it was more geared towards when Steve Young was there.
I think you're right, yeah.
And, of course, Steve Young progressed beyond that, too.
That's right. That wasn't for Kenny Anderson?
Yeah. Well, the Bengals did have their opportunities.
And they had Bill Walsh.
And they did have Bill Walsh. And they had Sam White, too.
They did, I know.
And what that means.
Let me remind you, you don't live in Cleveland.
That's true. That's true.
Again, if our listeners aren't aware, just giving homage to Bill. He's a big Browns fan, so
of course, one of the most successful franchises of all time in the NFL.
Yeah. How many Super Bowl championships?
10 championships.
Too soon? I said Super Bowl championships.
Well, let's talk world championships. So we talk world championships.
Whatever, Otto Graham. All right, so the Bobcats set the kick here. 14:28 again to go here in the fourth. And, again, Urbana really, needs to do something to reassert their dominance in this game.
They need to get something going here.
Wow. Nice kick. And, again, goes through the end zone, so it's going to come out to the 25. And
Jeff Garcia.
No danger of a return there.
Jeff just let that one fly through his hands. And a flag.
There couldn't be a flag, Rick.
Could there be off?
Did our producer just informed us there is a flag on.
Well, that's going to be offsides. I think they're going to kick again.
Yeah, I think you may be right, Bill.
Yep.
And they are. So back them up 5 and let's do it again. Oh, another. Are they going to attack? Eh?
This time.
Now they're going to tack it on. So it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 30 now for the Blue Knights.
I don't understand some things as far as why they do.
Some things, Bill?
Yes, some things.
You don't understand some things?
Some things, yes. There are some things in this game that I do not understand why they change what they change.
All right, so 1st and 10 again for the Blue Knights from their own 30-yard line. Bobcat defense, again, looking to keep pressure on Zarn Davis.
But there may be a new
shut
league.
Down this redshirt freshman.
So here's Zarn. He's got Isaiah in front of him. Isaiah gets a nice.
That's not Zarn Davis.
Oh no, it's
that was a Wildcat formation.
It's
Bill.
David Hickey.
Yeah, Hickey lined up at quarterback right there in the Wildcat, and
Hickey picks up about 11 yards there.
We got a big Urbana man down right there, and that's number 74. That's the senior Russ Podakov, and again, Big Russ goes 6'4", 334, and. Yeah, when Russ goes down, I wouldn't want to have to pick him up.
Well, let's hope that he's all right.
Yeah, that's right. Again, we've seen Russ be one of the anchors for this offensive line this year, and that would be a big loss for the Blue Knights.
We haven't seen a lot of, knock on wood, we have not, in the first few games, seen a lot of injuries, Chuck.
That's right. Not a lot. We've seen a few, but not a lot. And so looks like the big redshirt freshman, Jacob Unger, who's going to come in. Unger, who goes 6'5", 315. And again, he is just a freshman. He's a redshirt freshman.
And, of course, that's usually when you dial up pressure right over that young man's gaps.
That's right. That's right. Freshman out of Mainville. So another Buckeye State recruit here for the Blue Knights.
There you go. So
it's Mainville, just south of our home viewing area there, Bill.
Yes, indeed. So Let's take a look here. Of course, as Chuck said earlier, in the MEC tonight, Charleston is at Fairmont. Saturday, Shepherd is at West Virginia State. Notre Dame College at Concord. And University of Virginia Wise is at West Liberty.
All right, so Potakov is helped
off.
off the field, and hopefully Russ is all right.
It looks like
See
Hickey's
him back in the game.
back in there again with Isaiah, and that makes it some double trouble there.
Yeah, that's right. A little two-headed monster here.
So the read option became maybe just that much more dangerous. Oh, yeah, and Hickey's over to 50. And on consecutive plays, he's picked up 10 and 9 yards, Chuck.
Yeah,
so
that's right. I'll tell you. You know, he looked like a natural running that option there. He read Isaiah Young and rode him all the way, and then got in his hip pocket and followed him through the hole.
And of course, we don't know his background. I mean, he could have been a high school quarterback, and he's now a running back. So
yeah.
So
anything's possible.
Yep. And a lot of running quarterbacks, there's only so many spots you can put them, and sometimes you have to go
to get them on the field.
Yep.
So again, we'll call it the Wildcat.
And Hickey. And there he goes again. And he's up over to 40, this time a 12-yard gain. And David Hickey.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the Bobcats are making mass substitutions now. They just look worn out right now, Bill.
Yeah, I know. I think they're somewhat confused because they're not sure what to expect right here, Chuck.
Yeah,
now
that's
they've got
Zarin
Davis
comes back in the game, and looks like Hickey came out, but now they're telling him get back in there.
Hickey will line up as a slot, it appears.
I think he'll line up anywhere you put him, Bill.
Yeah, he will, as long as he's on the field.
That's right, and
he's
again,
good.
they don't want to get him off the field.
So 3 receivers to the right. Zarin Davis back in with Isaiah Young to his right. And they're going to give it to, and he's off over to 35 for Young, over to 30, 25, out at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, we talked about how active this Bobcat defense was, closing down the outside running lanes, and they just have not been able to do that here in the second half.
And I think you're right, Chuck, your observation that they're getting tired. They just can't keep up with the Urbana running backs at this point.
Yep, I think that's exactly it.
Oh, now comes Khalil. Well, that's not Khalil. 14, we'll get a number check on number 14 for Urbana. And that is
14, that's JT Dozier.
JT Dozier's back in the game. And so Davis puts Khalil, and he gives it to Khalil. And Khalil cuts back up. Khalil Trotman with a 3 or 4 yard gain there.
Yeah, and again, we were talking to Zarin's dad at halftime, and we mentioned that could be a dangerous combination, those two in the backfield.
Yeah, in the future.
That's some star power right there.
Yeah. And now Urbana is just milking it. They're using a look offense. So the offense just looks at the sideline until coach is ready to give them the play, and just eating up clock here.
Yeah, that's right. Again, play clock down inside 10 seconds, and they're in no hurry at all to snap this ball.
Got a pistol formation. Trotman moves to the left. A little option play. And Davis keeps it. He's up over the 20-yard line. Nice little move there by Davis.
Yeah, Davis just froze the outside defender right there.
Sure did.
And tucked it under and went.
Advanced it to the 18-yard line where it's going to be 3rd and about 3.
Actually, they backed it up a little bit, Bill. It's going to be 3rd and about 4 now.
Goes at the 19-yard line. Third down.
But again, big third down for the Blue Knights. They want to keep this drive going.
And I very much believe here that we know that Eric Ware is very capable of this distance.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely inside Ware's range right now.
Right. So we'll see what happens here as far as – are you good? No, I don't know what happened with that, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I don't know.
So there's – Davis looks – he's
got the end zone. Touchdown.
And it's Jesse Bray.
Touchdown.
So a
touchdown by Bray.
So the young quarterback, Davis, Zaire Davis gets a
All right, so Zaire Davis with his first touchdown as an Urbana Blue Knight. And again, he throws complete to number 6. And that is Jesse Bray.
Jesse Bray. So Zarin Davis with his first touchdown pass.
Yeah, I'm glad we were here to see that.
And I believe it's offsides on Wesleyan.
Bill, they don't throw flags on special teams.
No,
plays.
never. We haven't seen that all night.
No.
Yes, and that will.
Flag on the field.
So that will go against West Virginia Wesleyan, and that really takes a lot of wind out of the sails there, Chuck, because they started to get a little momentum. They scored 2 drives in a row, and that 7-pointer really
Well, not only that, but
kicks them.
To be run on like that, really leaves its mark on the defense.
Yeah.
It's one thing to give up a long pass or a couple, big chunk plays, but the methodical running, the 10 yards, 8 yards, 8 yards, 10 yards, that really leaves its mark on the defense.
Yeah.
Not only physically, but on their psyche as well. And you're right, Bill. I'm really curious to see how they come out and respond. Because, again, they're only down 18 with just over 10 minutes to go here.
Right.
Certainly not out of this ball game by any
Yeah.
means if they're able to make something happen. But
And they are averaging 35 a game, so we know
that's
they're
right. We know they can score.
Yeah. So Urbana gets ready to kick off, and West Virginia Wesleyan, you look at the defense over there, Chuck. I believe that's them over to the left, and it just looks like a tired bunch of warriors over there.
Yeah, they do. A lot of heads down on that sideline, and and who can blame them? I mean, like we talked about, it's been a hot night, and
they're 0-3.
Yeah, that's right.
Cleveland, the Browns 0, New York Jets 14.
Bill, I hate to tell you that. I don't know if you heard that, but
Well, there's good news there.
that it's 14-0 Jets.
Yeah,
that is good news.
Because Hugh Jackson won't be with us after this week.
Wow,
So that's the good news.
wow, Bill just selling his coach down the river there.
Well, I think after tying one game and winning one game and 3 1/4 seasons.
I was going to say, winning what game? They haven't won a game this year
No,
or last year.
no, 2 years ago when they
Okay.
beat San Diego and
Okay.
went 1-15.
Yeah.
So they've tied one and they've won one in the last previous 2 years.
Okay.
And
But hey, how about that preseason record?
yeah,
How
yeah,
about that preseason record?
yeah. Well, we'll see how the Jets do if they have to play some other real teams like the Saints and the Steelers.
So you're saying that the Browns aren't a real team?
No, the Browns actually played them well. We'll see if the
okay.
Jets are capable of,
They do have to play the Patriots twice, so
and they won't win either of those.
probably not.
And a former Cleveland Brown may make them look silly in that game too.
That's quite possible, Mr. Gordon. Yes. So
Eric,
again, the Bobcats
Eric Ware with the kickoff.
deep to receive here, and he booms it into the corner of the end
Right
zone,
at the
but
one.
going to be run out again.
And Lewis. Oh, good.
Kenny with another nice return.
Wow.
He's going to bring it up out past the 30-yard line. I don't believe it, Bill. There's a flag on the play. There's a flag on the kick.
There's a flag. Yes, indeed.
I must have dirty contacts then or something, Bill. 'Cause I had to have
You see something fly across your
I had to
con-
have misread that.
Oh, my goodness.
Whoa.
Uh-oh. Something went dark.
Sorry about that.
Well, hey, it's all right, Chuck. You're getting a little excited there.
Yeah, I am. I tell you, as Jets get up and just gets me
The
excited.
Jets, Jets there.
That's right.
Personal foul.
New Jersey's favorite football team.
I do have to say I did like
Personal foul on the Bobcats here, Bill. Going to move him back 15 yards.
That's a surprise. And I did like the Scott Darnold pick there, Chuck. So
Yeah. I did too. Of course, we talked about that. I was, happy with that pick, but I would have liked to have seen the young man that went to Arizona. A little more flashy. I thought he might have been more in the mold of Broadway Joe, but Darnold certainly has been impressive thus far.
yes, he has.
I mean, heck, he matched Brett Favre.
Yes.
First completion in the NFL was a touchdown.
Yep.
Of course, it was to the other team, but that's beside the point. So.
And I'll give you another one. Oh, and that's DeRay Hall.
Yes, it was, and I'll tell you, Casey needs to know where he's at because
DeRay would have walked in the end zone on that one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'll give you another one. There's an Ohio State quarterback in his first start that threw a touchdown pass. Can you name that quarterback?
Ohio State quarterback for Ohio State or for his pro team?
For his pro team, his first pro pass went for a touchdown.
Arthur Schleicher.
It is not Art Schleister.
Yeah.
Oh, and number 9.
Yeah, guess who? Again, Drannon with another big catch. Drannon good for a first down up to the 35-yard line. I don't even know unless it would be.
I'll give you a clue.
Was he a Heisman Trophy winner?
No, he was not.
Okay.
It was Craig Krenzel
Was it Craig Krenzel?
for the Chicago Bears.
Was it Dr. Craig Krenzel?
Yes, on Monday Night Football, his first attempted pass went for a touchdown.
Well, so did Sam Darnold's.
So Sam Darnold and Craig Krenzel.
And Brett Favre.
And Brett Favre.
Of course, I don't think Krenzel's was to another Bear, right?
No. No.
Oh, it was.
No, it was a touchdown. It was not an interception return.
Well, I didn't say anything about interception. I just said a touchdown for the other team.
It was to another Bear. But
Okay.
now who the other Bear was, I have no idea.
No, that's fine. But, yeah, Favre was as a Falcon, and it was to not a Falcon.
Yes.
And Darnold's was not to a Jet.
Yes. So
Anyway.
So Craig Krenzel, the object of our trivia question here tonight.
Yes. Our not Aflac trivia.
Not Aflac, yes.
First and 10 here for the Bobcats. And following the penalty.
The pace of the game has slowed immensely, as you can tell.
I think not only that, but the pace of this booth has slowed dramatically as well. All right, so three receivers to the bottom of the formation. Running back offset to the left to Casey.
Oh,
Casey
and,
with the
and
give.
here comes Tolliver. Oh!
And I'll tell you, they did not go for that run fake. And
No.
who do you think that might be, Bill?
I believe it's Michael Tolliver on that one.
I know you're right. Big Michael Tolliver, big 27 for this Blue Knight defense. Continues to set the tempo for this D-line.
I tell you what, Chuck, that first step, he had that tackle beaten, and you could see that bad things were headed Mr. Casey's way.
That's right. He's just got a great lean to him.
There goes Casey. Oh, man, there's a lot of bad going on now.
And I'll tell you, really, he got lucky right there. And
Devontae McKee's got to watch it there. He don't want to pick up a cheap 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, that's right. And I'll tell you, the receiver for the Bobcats, number 86, let him know it. That's Christian Nelson. And, again, you're right, Bill, very close to what could have been a personal foul.
That kind of just undid that big 6-yard loss. But then again, they wouldn't be in a 3rd and 5 here if it wasn't for that 6-yard sack.
That's right.
Here comes the rush.
Casey throws it complete. And that's to what?
It's Kenny Lewis again.
Kenny Lewis, that's right. So Lewis crosses midfield, and he's finally upended there. But, again, he's going to have another first down. And just like that, the Bobcats are in Blue Knight territory. First and 10 from the 48. Three receivers now to the bottom, one to the top.
The Blue Knights looks like they're in a rush 3. Now looks like they brought 5. Oh, no! That was all
unbelievable.
That was all sorts of bad, but Casey gets out to Lindsey, and Lindsey's up to the 30-yard line.
I'll tell you, Luke Casey looked like a Brett Favre type move there.
Yeah.
Maybe more Houdini.
Yes, indeedy.
Great job avoiding the sack there and getting the ball down the field. And I'll tell you, give credit to Jawan Lindsey for just keep working and getting himself open on that play.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, gets another nice first down here for the Bobcats as they move even further into Blue Knight territory, down to about the 30-yard line.
Okay, so 3-man rush for the Blue Knights. And
Casey with the snap.
They bring an outside rush. Oh, and they go down. And that's L.A. Kelly.
Get away from that one, and you're right. L.A. Kelly just got on that ankle and held on. And Casey tried to get out of that one, but no luck.
I tell you, they're running a little pro stunt on that left side of the defensive line, and it's given all sorts of problems to the linemen for Wesleyan because they just cannot pick that thing up.
No, you're right. A lot of these stunts have been deadly this half. Another one, and and Casey lays it out. Again, intended for Kenny Lewis, but just a little bit out of Kenny's reach. And, again, I'll tell you, Bill, he didn't get knocked down, but Casey took a nice little shot off another stunt there, a little twist down in the bottom.
Right.
And he got a nice little pop there as he released the football.
Well, and that's, again, we talked about the lack of downfield shots. It just kind of seems, Chuck, that they're not really coordinated on those deep passes to the middle of the field when they have thrown them. Of course,
that's right. So 7:42 to go here in the fourth.
Okay. So
Three
the
receivers to the top.
Knights bring 3.
Casey under pressure.
Oh, and Tolliver.
Casey just throws it up, and pass that really should have been picked off, Bill.
Yes, it should have been.
Casey threw it up for grabs, and there were the 3 men in the area. The problem was 2 of them were Blue Knights.
Yes. And bad things were about to happen as Mr. Tolliver was chasing Mr. Casey,
That's
too.
That's right, yeah. With bad intentions.
Yes. And speaking of bad intentions, back on the coverage was Tobias Haley.
I wonder where you were going with that.
And so here is the fourth.
Yeah,
and
fourth and about, we'll call it 16 or 18 here. So big down for the Bobcats. They need to convert.
They bring 3.
Casey throws it up down the right sideline. He's got a man.
No, out of bounds, I believe.
No, you let him a little bit too far out of bounds. Yeah, came down with it, but he's out of bounds. No, they ruled a catch.
Oh, my goodness.
They ruled a catch complete. To Kenny
Can
Lewis
we get a replay
Jr.
on that? No replay?
No replay here at Urbana, unfortunately.
Wow.
And complete to Kenny Lewis down the right sideline. And, well, just like that, the Bobcats are knocking on the door.
Well, I tell you what, I would like to
touchdown.
see the position of the body on that one. That was highly questionable.
I want to see his feet.
Yeah, so do
I
I.
want to see.
Yeah.
All right, so the snap now. Casey under serious
Oh,
pressure, rolls to his right. He's going to have to throw it away. And he does. Falls harmless incomplete out of the back of the end zone. So, again, 7:04 to go here in the fourth quarter. Again, Urbana still up 28-10, but West Virginia Wesleyan knocking on the door.
Boston Sanders was putting the pressure on Casey.
Yeah, and the Boz had some heat on him right there.
Boz was coming after him. And, you know, Chuck, the thing is, if they're going to pressure him like that and make him move, he's not going to get a chance to set up and get a good ball off.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so 2 receivers to the bottom of the formation, excuse me. 2 backs in the backfield. Casey throws to the 1 receiver side. And
it's knocked down.
Yeah, there's a flag on the play, Bill.
I think they're going to call unnecessary roughness. And it's
Personal foul.
Yeah. Roughing the passer is the call.
52, that's Marcus Omasuli. And, wow.
Yeah, that's a big penalty here. So it's going to, really more for the downs than for the field position because, again, it's only going to get them down to about the 4-yard line. But whole new fresh start here as it's now 1st and goal from the 4.
Yep.
Again, West Virginia Wesleyan, the clock now under 7 minutes, desperately needs a touchdown to stay in this football game.
On the ball's on the 3-yard line, 1st and goal.
Casey with the snap.
And they try to run it.
Oh, and he gives it to Brubeck. Brubeck up the middle.
And I don't think he got anything.
Might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, but you're right. That's about it, Bill. So that's going to make it 2nd and goal now from about the 3.5-yard line.
Yeah.
And again, substitutions now for the Urbana Blue Knight defense.
And that was 94 on the tackle. That was Keenan Williams, the 5'11", 285-pound junior out of Middletown, Ohio.
All right, so Brubeck lined up to the left. Casey fakes to Brubeck. He's hit.
Oh!
And that may be a fumble, Bill, and it is.
Oh, it is.
Blue Knights pick it up.
And that's Jamari Collins, the big defensive tackle. And he's got a convoy of Blue Knights.
He might need it, Bill.
10, 5, touchdown. Jamari Collins.
Wow. So again, from knocking on the door to a scoop and score for 6. Touchdown Blue Knights. So with 6:10 to go now in the 4th, it's now Urbana 34, West Virginia Wesleyan 10. The PAT yet to come.
And not to belabor a point, but we talked about this in the pregame. Yeah, too late. But the turnovers had to be minimized, and they haven't been.
That's right.
And really, when they were in a position where anytime they've been able to cut that down to a reasonable score, are they going to
All right, so the kick is up.
No Joe Montaigne
and
there.
it is good. So, again, that pushes it now 35. West Virginia Wesleyan 10. 6:10 to play.
6:10 to play, and Chuck, it's getting close to that time. 25-point lead, and as we talked about, it just comes down to how many times can you get the ball.
Yeah, that's right. It's all about possession count right now, and you're right. West Virginia Wesleyan is desperately running out of chances here.
Right. So, Here they go. And a lot of, little celebrations going on the sideline here for Urbana as they start to feel it a little bit. Chuck, they're feeling a possibility going to 3-1, setting up a big matchup next week with Charleston.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Big matchup, and so that means all eyes tonight now turn to another part of West Virginia where, again, Charleston travels to Fairmont.
A huge game.
That's right. So again, I wish we had a result of that game. Unfortunately, I was not able to find the score, but we'll see if we can't find that score before the end of the game.
All right. And there might be live stats on that, Chuck.
And we got one of our tech guys crunching the
he's
internet
crunching
right
the numbers
now,
here for us.
So. Good, because again, like we said,
we'd like to know
some
that.
big implications now coming over from Fairmont now.
It's Charleston and Fairmont.
Yep, Charleston at Fairmont State.
Yep. Okay.
All right, so Blue Knights set to kick off here.
And Eric Ware drives, on the ground, a big bouncer.
Yep, and it's picked up
They're
there.
going to play a little rugby, whether they get it back to.
No, they do. They flip it back to Kenny Lewis Jr.
Yeah.
Anthony Hill, again, the linebacker, fielded it, but again, flips it back to Kenny Lewis Jr.
Might as well get it to the hot hand, Chuck.
Well, that's right. Again.
Kenny's had some nice returns tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Anthony Hill's a linebacker. He knows. He's not supposed to have the ball in his hand.
Eddie Stockett is over here on the sideline talking to a fan. He doesn't appear to be in a lot of pain, Chuck.
Yeah, well, I don't think any Urbana Blue Knights feeling much pain right now.
I don't think so right now.
All right, so 3 receivers to the bottom of the formation again.
Oh, and there.
Casey looks. Oh, it's complete.
Oh, 9, and that's
and
draining
again, that is draining again, and draining up across midfield. Gets it all the way down to the Blue Knight 41-yard line, and looks like we may have a Blue Knight player down there, Bill. Definitely slow to get up, and they finally stop play, and looks like he's going to jog himself off the field. But now he stopped.
Might be McKee.
And and again, like we talked about, very possibly could just be a cramp.
Yeah.
Given today's heat.
Yep. And,
it certainly looks like the way he's holding his calf. So, again.
I'll tell you what, Coach Haynes has done a nice job rotating players, getting a lot of experience for the younger kids. And, these are the type of reasons that you do that because of these injuries. It just pays dividends when you get into the big games that could decide the championship.
That's exactly right. And, again, he's up and runs off the field. And, checking, we may have some highlights here of Charleston Fairmont State, hopefully, coming up. And
hopefully that's
okay.
Get a glance at the scoreboard.
All right, so Bobcats come out with a 4 wide, three to the bottom, 1 to the top. Casey gets the snap. He steps up in the pocket, throws down the right sideline. He's got a step. Oh, but he overthrows him, and it looks like that was
Dundy.
Complete, intended for
number 19.
The number, was it 19 again?
It was number 19.
All right, and again, 19, that is.
I got him here.
That is Sterling Dudney.
Yeah.
And haven't seen Dudney in a while. But,
nope. That was a nice step up by.
Yeah, it was. He really climbed the pocket there. So 3 to the bottom, 1 to the top again for Casey. There's the snap.
He flushed from the pocket. Boom!
Oh, complete. And that's Devin Montgomery back in the game at running back. And I'll tell you, Montgomery hit, but now looks like he's crawled off the field there, Bill. He took quite a shot there on the sideline, and he's down.
He sure did.
So they're not going to replace him with they are going to replace him with a running back. They bring back in
that was McKee.
Number 46, and of course that is Shaq Freeman Parks, again, freshman out of Dayton.
Okay, Devontae McKee on the stop on that for the Blue Knights.
There's the snap.
Casey rolls to his right.
Casey throws back now across his body. Oh, intended for number 82. Again, Juwan Lindsay, but
really
Lindsay just couldn't haul that in. And you're right, really a dangerous throw to roll to the right and throw back to your left across the body.
Calvin Bransford, the Sam linebacker, was right on him. And if you underthrow that,
that could be 6 real quick the other way. All right, so big fourth down, now, for the Bobcats. Probably their last chance if they don't convert here. At least their best chance.
Yeah, I would say.
So there's the snap.
There's the pressure.
Casey
pressured.
And he's
All right, loses the ball. I think
was that a
I think
fumble,
that's going to
Ruski?
be well. He was over the line, Chuck. So
Yeah,
I think that's
it
it's
was
gotta
a
be a
fumble,
fumble.
but again, can't be recovered by the offense other than him in that situation.
right.
Thanks to the infamous Los Angeles or Oakland Raiders.
Yes.
So that is going to be a turnover on downs, and that's where the Blue Knights will take over, 1st and 10.
And that was a
from about their
Najee
own 40, about the 41-yard line.
Davenport on the recovery on that, and yes, Dave Casper and the play they called the Holy Roller, I believe, was
That's right.
the name. So I think we're going to see a little bit of the ground and pound here now.
Now, Bill, of course, I was too young to witness that live, but
Yeah, you probably saw it with Steve
I've
Sable's.
seen the Steve Sable version, and
Yes.
I want to know, did it look as intentional as I thought it did
Nah,
when it happened?
it was a clean play.
Yeah, well,
Well, I was a Raiders fan, so.
I like the Raiders too, but I don't think you kick a ball that many times to get away with it. So
And the bounce by Trotman, and Trotman takes a little bit of a loss on that.
yeah, and I tell you, they run Trotman all the
And
way out of
we
bounds.
got
and
something going on. We got a scrum.
yeah, this is unfortunate.
And this
here.
is where some people could lose some games.
Yeah,
on
they,
this.
they forced Trotman out of bounds, but they just kept pushing him all the way. And
Well, now we got
a lot of
second.
Blue Knights took exception to it, and now the entire Blue Knights defense is on that side of the field. And I'll tell you, Urbana needs to be careful or not to leave their sideline. But
Yeah,
this is a precarious situation where you've got the entire West Virginia Wesleyan sideline over there. And
there was a nice job by the Urbana coaches keeping those guys
yeah, it really
contained
was,
over
and,
here.
but I'll tell you, really,
So we're
really
going
their
to
Trotman showed a
We're gonna have
freshman mistake.
offsetting
He's gotta keep that ball
fouls
in
and
bounds.
yeah, we're going to have offsetting fouls here, Chuck, and then we're going to have maybe suspensions or expulsions.
Maybe an
here.
ejection here.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's possible, and it looks like.
I think they're going to have one for each team's going to get booted. You just hope.
And you really hate to see that, Bill.
Yeah.
We're really down. We're inside 5 minutes at this point. Really, the game has been decided.
Yep.
And you really hate to see that. Of course, I say it's decided and watch Wesleyan will come out and score 3 touchdowns. But again, really unfortunate. You really hate to see that.
Three touchdowns won't do it though, Chuck.
Yeah,
so.
and you don't want to see a young man lose some playing time here, though. And
But
if
it would
someone
be
gets
different.
ejected, that is what will happen.
Yeah. It would be different for Wesleyan if they did score 3 touchdowns because they would have lost by 4 that time instead of 3 like they have the first 3 games.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
that's one way to look at it, Bill.
Add some variety to it,
Yeah, a little flavor. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I guess I would rather lose by that much than 25 points.
But
a loss is a loss, no matter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Does it wear on you more if you lose those close games week in and week out, or I don't know. That's a question.
Are you asking me because you think I've been in that situation?
Everybody's been in that situation, but I don't know if
That's not true. I don't think one player on Mount Union's roster has been in that situation.
that. You know what? You can't argue. Now, Mount Union's opponents have been in that situation quite frequently.
No, they're losing by a lot more than 4.
That's true.
Most of them.
4 touchdowns,
Yeah.
and that's a close one.
Yeah,
usually.
that really is for the Mount.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see what the description is here.
With ejections.
There are going to be ejections.
Offense, number 67, 62, and 63.
Wow.
Good part of the offensive
Also,
line.
Unsportsmanlike with ejection, number 5 of the defense. Also, personal foul, late hit out of bounds, number 5 of the defense.
All right, so Trey Lee has been ejected for the Bobcats, and I know, what did they say, 62, Dylan Swanson, and
Yeah.
what were the other numbers, Bill? Did you get 'em?
64, I believe,
That's Mike Mulholland,
and 63, I think
and that
was
would
it.
be Greg Bernal. So if that is those 3 young men, you're right.
Good part of the
That's a big chunk of the O-line, and some of the players there that they're looking for. And
Now, I'm not sure what the results, how that affects next week as far as if they're suspended for the game or not.
yeah, I don't know what the rule is at this level either. But
In high school, you would be out.
you would be out. That's right. But again, with Podakov going down in the first half, or was that the first half or second half? I'm trying to remember. But
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, with one of the Urbana linemen going down already,
Yep.
that's a significant blow here for the.
Well, and
for the Blue
especially that's
Knights.
where I think
Yeah,
Greg
Bernal was the
Bernal,
backup,
he
and-
was filling in there.
Yeah, well, actually, Ungerhu was the backup that came in, but
Yeah.
the big freshman. But again, unfortunate situation you hate to see at this point in the ball game. Any point in the ball game.
Yeah.
So again, 4:42 left to play, and the Urbana Blue Knights up 35. West Virginia Wesleyan 10. But again, we still have a few minutes to go here, and the Blue Knights now with the football going to try to get a nice drive here, maybe melt about 4.5 minutes of that 4:40 off the clock here.
Looks like Hickey's in the backfield with Davis.
All right, so back to that Wildcat formation.
And we've got one receiver to each side.
Do we call that the Blue Knight formation?
Yeah, look, appears to be double tights. Okay.
23-17, I don't know who they didn't say.
Okay.
I'm thinking it's Charleston. Fairmont just scored.
Close game, though, right?
Yeah, so 23-17 from, that's at Charleston, I believe, tonight. And we're trying to ascertain who's ahead on that game. We know Fairmont has just scored. We just haven't got the complete final on that.
Okay, so Blue Knights again in their Wildcat look here. And
there's Hickey. And Hickey, nice run up over to 20, 25, 30, 40, 50. Over the 40-yard line of the Bobcats.
And tackled inbounds.
And nice run by David Hickey, the long run of the night. And
Yeah,
it's
that's
down
right.
to the 35-yard line.
I'll tell you, he got some green grass and he just exploded around the right edge.
Yeah, he did.
Number 30. That's who ran it right there.
Oh, okay. That was actually, it was Bailey Whalen.
Yeah, Bailey Whalen. That's not Hickey. So
Yeah.
I don't know
Wow.
what you're looking at, Bill.
Nice wheels. Oh, I thought Hickey was in the game there. And I was wrong.
Yeah, Whalen's still in there. And again,
Yeah, nice run by Whalen.
Yeah, ZD at quarterback and Whalen at running back.
And then what do we have with, and they give it to Whalen.
Again to
Oh,
Whalen.
oh,
and
not that time. It's going to be about a 5-yard loss.
yeah, and I'll tell you, he really got popped there by number 4, Anthony Hill.
And Bailey Whalen is a 5'9", 200-pound running back from Brookville, Ohio. So that's a local school here.
All right, looks like Ungerhu's gonna check back in the game.
10-yard penalty from spot of foul. Replay first down.
Big number 76, Marcellus Jones now out.
Okay, so they
When
take.
I say big about Marcellus Jones, I mean it, Bill.
Yes.
Goes 6'4", 345. Not a small man.
Now, anytime you get well over the threes, you're talking about a large person, Chuck.
That's right.
Okay.
First and 21.
So, Chuck, who do you think the surprise team, with the opening weeks in the NFL, who's really surprised you out of the blocks?
Well, I guess one of the big surprises I'd have to say, obviously, has been Kansas City. When they did decide to deal away their quarterback, we know that they had a lot of confidence in Mahomes. But,
Bailey
I
with
don't
a
think
20-yard gain for the Knights.
I don't think anyone thought that they would start out this way. One that's really disappointed me that I thought would be better so far has been Detroit. I really thought with the new coach, that they may just be a step or two away, but they have not looked good to start the season. Also, too, Minnesota's been a little bit of a surprise for me. I was curious to see how that would work out with their new quarterback.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, but been a pleasant surprise.
Okay. So the Knights picked up 20 after the 15-yard penalty, and Bailey Whalen, a 20-yard run. They give it to Whalen again, and he works his way over to 20. Oh, it's just tripped up at the 15-yard line. And I'll tell you what, he's got a lot of good jump cuts in there, Chuck.
Yeah, he really does, and I'll tell you, number 13, for the Bobcats. That is Derek Butler, and if Butler hadn't made that tackle by the shoestring, I think that would have been a touchdown for the Blue Knights.
Yeah. So
But
Bailey.
instead, the clock continues to run. We're down inside 2.5 minutes now to go here in the fourth quarter.
So Whalen gets off to the right of Davis, and he gives it to Whalen again. Whalen's down over to 5, works his way down to the 1. And you know what? I think you got to give him the ball here, Chuck.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bill.
With 2:09 to go in the game, and
He certainly earned it.
I mean, they started way down there on the 15-yard line. He deserves the opportunity to finish this drive.
He sure does.
So Davis with Whalen off to his right, and he gives it to Bailey, and Bailey, oh, no, works it down to the 1. And this kind of solves a problem for the coach that doesn't want to be seen as, running up the score. If you're going to run it up the middle with this kid 4 times.
Yeah, that's right. At some point, it's on West Virginia Wesleyan just to stop it.
Yeah, if he bangs it in, then that's their fault.
I don't know if it's anybody's fault, Bill.
Yep. It's their fault. So
So again, 1:30, 1:25 left here in regulation, and again, second and goal from about the 3-yard line, inside the 3-yard line actually.
And you could see a read option here too. I mean, they're going to give it to Whalen, and Whalen does get it in.
Yeah, he punches it in, so clock stops at 1:10, and your score now 41-10.
So out of
Blue
that,
Knights.
out of that 85 yards, I'm not sure how many yards he had, but he had a lion's share of it.
Well, Coach Cordell was fired up.
Yeah, he's fired up. He's got that offensive line pushing the Bobcats all over the place.
Yeah, that's right.
So 1:10 to go in the game, 41-10 in favor of your Blue Knights. Extra point up and coming here.
All right, and it looks like we're going to have a stoppage on the field. Urbana needs a timeout to discuss things here, and why not?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess you're going to get some clean shirts in there.
We'll do some final stats.
Okay. So as soon as hopefully we'll find out what's going on over there at Fairmont and Charleston.
All right, Rick, Bill, I got a trivia question for you.
Okay, throw it at me, Stan.
Name for me a big-time college coach that was born in Fairmont, West Virginia.
A big-time college coach.
Big-time head coach.
Can I ask a question? Can I get a lifeline on this?
Yes.
Is he still coaching?
He is.
Okay.
And I'll even give you the conference. He's coaching in the SEC.
The SEC.
The SEC. I will not say which division of the SEC.
Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, that's incorrect.
And there's the kick.
The kick is up, and it's good. And your Fairmont native coach is the Alabama head coach, Mr. Nick Saban.
I'll be darned. Aflac.
That's right. Where's the bear at when we need him? Where's the bear?
Where's the bear? So, wow, I did not know that.
Yep.
So, is he going to retire there, Chuck? I mean, when he's done with Alabama, he's going to go back to Fairmont State? And
I don't know the answer to that, Bill, but my guess would be no.
Yeah. There's those who believe he'll take another shot at the NFL at some point.
And I'm not one that believes that.
Let's see if he can be one of the Super Bowl national champion guys.
I think his ego's big enough that he doesn't want to risk that again.
Yeah, he got bruised the last time he was there.
Yeah, slightly.
Now, Urban, on the other hand, I think Urban might do that.
Yeah, that would shock me too, honestly. But I don't know why Urban would want that stress.
From what I've heard, that is something he said he would like to do.
Really?
Yeah. So
I'd like to see him survive this scandal and stay at Ohio State.
So did he commit domestic abuse?
Urban Meyer?
Yeah.
By proxy? No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Because I was just wondering, because it seems like ESPN is more concerned about the guy who is the head coach than the guy that actually committed the crime. So
wow.
Here we go.
All right, so touched by Touched by a Bobcat player.
Oh, there he
but-
goes. It's Lindsay.
Oh! And Lindsay gets popped. Back up on his feet, but again,
Who's that number?
he took a shot there, and I'm not sure. I don't think that was 15 that actually hit him.
Yeah, he was
15
involved,
just took
but
his helmet off.
yeah, I think he was the second guy in on
Yeah.
that. That'd be Calvin Blair, a freshman from Worcester, who was partially in on it. We don't know what the complete.
That's right.
But there's a lot of partying going on the sidelines here in Urbana with 1:04 to go. It is 42-10 in favor of the Urbana Blue Knights. And this one is about in the books here. Casey takes the snap, and it looks like they're just going to, I think they gave it to Freeman.
Yeah, I think they're just going to run this one out.
And I suspect those 3 timeouts they have, they're not going to use them this time around.
Those will stay in the pocket here, Bill. So
Sure will.
Again, under a minute to go now, and your score 42-10, Urbana Blue Knights.
So Urbana is about to move to 3-1, Chuck, and they will be 2-1 in the conference, and setting up a big game next week, potentially with Charleston. And we hope to have that Charleston score before we leave the air.
That's right. Okay, so another handoff here over the right side, and swarmed under by the Blue Knight defense, and
that'll be
probably be the last play of the game.
Yeah, I believe it will be.
All right, folks. So time clicks away here, and your final score: Urbana Blue Knights 42, the West Virginia Wesleyan Bobcats 10.
And so this one's going to be over. And Chuck, we're 3-0 here.
Yeah, we are. The Blue Knights are. It's great.
Yep. And Campus Nation has been here for all 3 of those, and we'll be back in a few weeks here when they play West Virginia. I believe it's University of Virginia Wise.
Right.
Is the next time we'll be here, which is I think October 6th, and that will be a Saturday afternoon game. Chuck, some final impressions here before we run down the stats.
Well, I think we expected a lot more offensive production out of West Virginia Wesleyan. They never really seem to be able to get things clicking enough plays in a row.
I agree with you.
Again, their little dink and dunk offense never seemed to really get timed up the way they wanted. And so again, some disappointment there, obviously.
Yep.
Urbana looked really good offensively at times. Again, Stockett went down. We had to see them, rely more on running the ball, and their running game was good, not excellent, but good. And so, again, I think both these teams, have a lot of things they need to work on. But I think Urbana going forward, is looking good. I think they've got some questions to answer as far as their quarterback goes. Again, Zarin Davis looked good at times, on the ground. But, again, I think he, needs a little more polishing if they expect him to really step into the role they have Stockett playing right now.
Yeah, and I think the thing with Eddie Stockett is that's the big question mark, because when you get some of the teams, when you get to Charleston, which right now we believe Charleston leads 23-17, the announcer said that Charleston just needed a couple more first downs. So that kind of commentary would lead you to believe they're trying to run out the clock at this point.
Right.
And so that would set up an undefeated Charleston, who will come into that game. I believe they'll be 4-0 if they're successful with that victory. Yes, Charleston is 3-0 overall and in league play. So with a win tonight against Fairmont, that they will go to 4-0, and they will take on the 3-1 Urbana Blue Knights next Thursday night in Charleston, West Virginia. Chuck, we've got a rundown on the final stats. For Wesleyan, 391 yards passing for Urbana, 147. Rushing yards, -3 for Wesleyan, and for Urbana, 147. Total offense was 388.
257.
Or 257. 388 for Wesleyan on 72 plays, and for Urbana, 404 yards on 60 plays.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Wesleyan had more plays, but again, it was about the production of the plays.
Yeah.
Wesleyan, again, a lot of snaps, but just not able to convert a lot of those into positive plays.
We talked about penalties, and the second half was definitely that pace picked up. Wesleyan had 13 for 180, and Urbana had 9 for 59, so we had 22 penalties in the game.
And it seemed like 19 of those were in the second half.
Yes, it did, because the first half, and we had commented that it was a pretty clean game up to that point.
Right.
Chuck, you want to go ahead and get the West Virginia Wesleyan player stats there?
Sure. So on the ground, both with 5 carries. First with Mason Brubeck. He had 5 carries for 9 yards, so with an average of 1.8. Montgomery, 5 carries, gained 12 yards, but did have an 8-yard loss. So, again, his net was 4, so his average was just under 1 yard. Again, the freshman from Dayton, Shaq Freeman Park, had 5 carries and 5 yards, so but did have 6 negative yards, so he ends up with a negative average. And Dante Satcher, who we saw go down early in the game, also had a negative average of almost a negative 1 yard. Luke Casey was the lone passer tonight for West Virginia Wesleyan. He finished 32 for 47, which, again, don't look like bad numbers, but most of those were pretty short passes. He ends up with 391 yards with 1 touchdown, one long, with a long of 38. I believe that was the touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
He was also sacked 5 times. Receiving, Jawan Lindsay, obviously the big target there, targeted 10 times, finished just short of 100 yards with 98, had the long of 16. Kenny Lewis Jr., an impressive-looking young player, had 6 catches for 98 yards, so he had that 31-yard catch. Derek Drapin had a common target as well, 6 catches for 84, had a long of 32. And then Nelson finished with 2 catches for 49. He did have the 38-yard touchdown. On kick returns, Kenny Lewis, again, had over 100 yards, had 3 returns, and, of course, that long of 82 is what did it for him.
Yep.
As far as defensively, leading tacklers were Brady Walker with 6. Anthony Hill had 8 total. Walker finished with 7 total. And, of course, Cole Skaggs had 5 and a tackle for a loss.
Okay. Taking a look at Urbana, the leading rusher was Bailey Whalen with 6 carries for 89 yards. He had a long of 53, and he finished that drive with a touchdown. He averaged 14.8 yards per carry. Isaiah Young, 19 carries for 86 yards, 2 touchdowns on the night. He had a long of 17. He averaged 4.5 yards. Nice job tonight by Isaiah Young. David Hickey, 6 carries for 46 yards. He had a touchdown, and he averaged 7.7 yards per carry. And Zarin Davis, 6 carries for 26 yards. He averaged 4.3 yards per carry. Eddie Stockett, before he left the game, was 8 of 12 for 128 yards with a long of 32 yards.
And he really looked on tonight, Bill. He looked good.
And we hope he's healthy and able to come back next week, Chuck. Zarin Davis, 1 of 3 for 19 yards and a touchdown. Jesse Bray led the way in the receiving corps for the Blue Knights. He had 4 catches for 68 yards, a touchdown, and his long was 32 yards. Chad Swanson showed up big tonight with 3 catches, 50 yards, and his long was 23. Justin Dennis, 1 catch for 20, and then Shamar Hooks, 1 catch for 9.
Yeah, and Shamar led the team in receptions before tonight, Bill, so you wonder, maybe he'll get a little more action next week.
Well, a lot of rest. We didn't see Khalik Muhammad either.
Yeah, Muhammad didn't even dress tonight.
Right. So, that's maybe, a credit to the strength and depth of this team.
Oh, that's for sure.
You can leave those players out and still win the football games. Brandon Perk had 4 punts. He averaged 28.2 yards per per punt. David Hickey had 1 return for 12 yards. Defensively, Tobias Haley, 8 tackles. DeArmond Lewis, 8 tackles. Michael Tolliver, Chuck, check this one out.
Yeah.
8 tackles, 2 sacks, 4.5 TFLs. What can you do to stop this guy?
He just seems unblockable at times, doesn't he?
He does. And L.A. Kelly, 7 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 TFL. So, it was a great game tonight, and we'll be back, as we said, in a couple weeks when on October 6th for homecoming when it's the University of Virginia Wise visits Urbana.
That's right. I'll tell you, we've been here so much, it's going to feel like a homecoming for us.
It is going to be a homecoming for us, and we hope to, continue to get some Urbana alumni come back up here and relive some of those moments. But so tonight's final from Urbana University Stadium is your Blue Knights 42 and the West Virginia Wesleyan Bobcats 10. Our thanks to Rick with his with Rick Phillips, and then Chuck Hale and our production truck, Brandon McCrae on the production truck.
Brandon's our producer.
Oh, Brandon is our producer. Rick is.
He runs the show.
Rick just switches. He's switching.
Rick's just a gopher.
Rick is switching something back here. I don't know what he's doing back there half the time.
Switching his socks, I think. I don't know what he's doing.
I hope it's only socks. So, anyhow, so for the crew here, I'm Bill the Razor Rayback. Good night. We'll see you Saturday.
Good night.
All right, Dean, shut her down.
So I don't know what that phone was doing, but I just listened again. It's 20 to 3 now. So I have no clue.
Well,
but Charleston punched it in. So and it's